One Studios in Franklin, Michigan. Welcome to the Detroit Cast.
Big fan.
A show not just free of charge, but free of FCC regulations.
Thank you for your support of the Detroit Cast.
And without further delay, it's showtime. Please welcome the Detroit Cast. Here are your hosts, Mike and Jay.
Hey everybody, welcome to a Monday edition of the Detroit Cast with Mike and Jay. Big E is here, the dog is here. How are you, pal?
We're missing the poos.
No poos. Tomorrow. I think you get the poos.
Oh, good. Thank God.
I think it'll either be tomorrow or Wednesday show.
Okay, at least we'll get her this week.
Yeah. Well, you'll definitely have your poos.
Good.
How was your weekend? Anything exciting?
I had a momentous occasion today, a life-changing event.
You did?
Yeah, I got 3-star paddles.
No way!
Yes.
And?
Manny and I have entered a new realm of Pong playing.
How are they?
Fuck, they're awesome.
Aren't they great?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a whole new game. We literally were playing with friggin',
frying
two
pans.
logs. Yeah, frying pans. It was ridiculous.
I know. I told you. That's what I was talking about. Now I want to come over and play.
It was kind of, I think, good to learn on that, kind of learn on bad shit, because now, I mean, we made a nice base for ourselves.
Yeah.
And, dude, the control now you have with those paddles.
The spin, the control, the kill shots.
5 hits into a volley, that thing's just spinning 100 miles an hour.
Yeah. It's brutal.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's a totally different game.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
3-star balls and real paddles.
Yeah.
Championship paddles.
Yeah.
I love it. Welcome to the world.
Manny dove yesterday for a ball, and he made the shot, too.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So this is getting serious.
That's all. Did you win, or did he win everything?
He is regularly beating me 2 out of 3.
Really?
If we go 3 out of 5, I might have a chance, but 2 out of 3, he's pretty much.
He's got youth on his side.
Yeah.
Good for him. Well, anyway, welcome to the Detroit Cast. As I said, a Monday, dare I say, a big show today. We got a lot to get to. We'll get to the female firefighters in New York City.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, graduation class on tomorrow, Tuesday. We got Felix Dennis, who passed away. A lot of people don't know who he is. We'll explain later. His house is up for sale if you're interested.
Interesting character.
Yeah, definitely. We got Einstein's brain to discuss. Big Bird. Who knew Big Bird had issues in his life?
Yeah, really.
New documentary coming out on the Bird. Mr. Bird, as I call him. So we'll get to him a little later.
First name Big, last name Bird.
That's right. Hence the Mr. part. Monsieur Bird, the French version. We got things heating up in Baltimore. We did the show Friday. Well, posted Friday morning, and then who knew Friday morning they were going to levy massive charges
Against 6 cops.
6 cops. This is unprecedented territory. Murder charges for that driver. 2nd degree. Good luck with that, by the way.
Yeah,
Good
really.
luck proving a murder case on a cop. That I don't see how that's going to play out. But, I mean, that it was scary the way things unfolded this weekend. The party is on in Baltimore. Everybody feels like justice has been served.
It's clearly crowd control charges, right?
Which is the scariest part of this whole story to me.
Yeah.
Like when I think of a prosecutor, what their job is, it's our job to show faux outrage and to be the people and not really have the facts, not really know what the story is, but but we work on emotion, right? The people in the general public think they know everything, including you and I. And it doesn't exclude us. But for a prosecutor, you would hope that
they actually have evidence to prove the charges.
Yeah.
Well,
and
I don't know.
And maybe they do. Maybe I'm sure they have stuff that we're not aware of. But when the prosecutor takes the steps of the Capitol building and says stuff like, all you marchers out there, we heard you loud and clear. No justice, no peace. We heard you. Your voices will be heard. Like those
all
are
you
things,
young people.
Yeah, those are things that I don't think a prosecutor wants. That's not the place a prosecutor wants to go down, that road.
Yeah, it was a little much. But they are seeking justice for the people, so there's a part of that that's okay.
Yeah, but don't you think it's important that they're able to take the emotion out of it, take the public's opinion out of it, and seek justice?
course.
which is kind of what we said all along. Like, listen, we're not saying they're guilty or innocent, but we're not willing to just strap them up in town square and hang them.
Mhm.
Like, why don't we wait till this thing plays out before we go?
Well,
on
why
a
are we
witch hunt?
completely poo-pooing her charges, though? They have the facts, and the whole time we've said, let's wait till we see the facts. So
Well-
until we see them present the facts,
That's fine. It just seems odd for a prosecutor to say. I guarantee the defense is going to be all over that, going, this is a move to make sure that the public doesn't riot in this city. That's what it looked like. That's what it felt like. And I think it's going to be really hard. Murder is not an easy thing to prove.
oh,
And you've got the video we've seen, unless they've got video that we're not aware of, maybe they do, but the video we've seen, the cops acted accordingly. Now, did they arrest someone who shouldn't have been arrested? Maybe so. It sounds like maybe that was the problem. Technically, a switchblade wasn't a switchblade. It was one of those flip open knives.
Mhm.
So that means it was grounds.
legal?
It was a legal knife. So maybe you get them there for reckless behavior or I don't know what, false arrest or something.
False arrest, false imprisonment.
But as far as a murder charge, like, unless there's
You have
something,
to show like a depraved heart, malice.
yeah, you intentionally knew that your actions could result in death of a human life.
mhm.
And there's no video in that van. There's no witnesses to anything.
I think they're mainly hanging the hat on the fact that I think there's acknowledgement from at least some of them that the guy's crying out for help. I can't breath,
Mm-hmm.
that sort of thing. And they all confirm that, we didn't do much about that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Because a lot of people do that,
well,
and then I guess maybe you're held to the fire when it goes wrong.
yeah.
But this really feels like a move that's done,
It does feel like that, but I'm not ready to just jump on it. Oh, this is unjust. I think we got to see what facts they have,
yeah.
and then it'll play out, right?
Yeah, I'm sure we will. There's a lot of legal scholars that are coming out this weekend going, this is fucking outrageous. Good luck trying to make these charges stick. But we'll see. Mayor of Baltimore has lifted that curfew, by the way, so they're off timeout.
Who are
As if that fucking mattered.
I know.
No more civil citations for those in the streets post 10.
who are their jury, like the peers? Who are his peers are they gonna be all African American?
Well, they're going to select them from the county in which
Right.
they happen unless it gets moved.
Well, that's my
but
point, though.
Could be, yeah.
So
I noticed the narrative, by the way, of that story is changing.
But look at this, though, E. It's not necessarily a racial thing. You've got, I think 2 of the 6 are African American cops.
Three,
Are they? Okay.
Three, including the driver.
Yeah,
Okay.
who's got the murder charge.
Yeah, who's got the big murder charge.
okay,
Second degree, depraved heart. He's looking at 65 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Fuck.
16.
I know. Well, they've got multiple levels. And
Yeah,
if you threw them all in, he's facing 65 years. But anyway, as I said, they've 5 nights of curfews, and they've lifted those. And that was more for the city, like the bars and all that kind of stuff that were like, you're killing us.
Yeah.
The restaurants that were like, we're closing our restaurant.
Yeah, we want legit people coming in. Come on.
Yeah, you're killing us. 95% of like traffic is down. 95%. They were like, even reporters coming in, because reporters weren't on timeout. So they didn't have to go home to their babysitters
Right.
at 10 o'clock. So those people would go into like, the famous Sally's restaurant down the street, and they'd go in there and they'd be like, yeah, there'd be nobody in there. Usually there's a line down the street on a weekend. Nobody in there. And they're like, yeah, can you hurry it up though? It's 7:30 and we need to get our employees out of here in enough time so that they can make it home by 10.
Damn.
Plus
Yeah.
all the food. I mean, as a restaurant, my God, all that food you'd have to throw away that you're not.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes
Yeah.
away so fast in restaurants.
Yeah. It's crazy. So the celebrations continue to erupt through Baltimore following the announcement that all 6 have been charged in the brutal death of Freddie Gray, the brutal death. But while Baltimore's top prosecutor was praised for acting swiftly, a few lawyers, as I mentioned, have come out. Alan Dershowitz is one. We all know Alan Dershowitz.
Not a big fan.
Yeah, he was part of the OJ
Yeah, he was the appeal guy. He was ready to appeal a million issues.
criminal lawyer from New York. Why are you not a fan of
I don't know.
Dersh?
He's got a long history of being in the public, and
Yeah.
I don't remember which of the 30 stories I've read about him rubbed me wrong, but
Yeah.
somewhere along the line it did.
That's all it takes
Yeah.
with Jay.
Eh,
Rub him wrong and he's out. He's done.
done with you.
He's a professor at the Harvard.
Yeah.
He says that the Marilyn Mosby's move to charge the officers is outrageous and irresponsible. In particular, he called into question what you did. The decision to charge the van driver with second-degree murder count under a legal principle known as depraved heart. The decision to file charges was not based on considerations of justice, but on considerations of crowd control, which is exactly what it looked like to me. Mosby's actions were motivated more by political expediency and short-term public safety rather than strong evidence. Getting a jury to convict police officers of murder and manslaughter will be far harder than obtaining arrest warrants. One of the main problems will be lack of evidence, So we'll see how it plays out. But unfortunately, a lot of this unrest, I think personally, and it's just my opinion, goes to the issues we're seeing with people everywhere having problems with police. Because I think there aren't nearly as many problems in the African American community. I think African Americans in the communities, even in low income areas of the country, get along swimmingly with the police. I think they get along just fine with the police. The criminals, on the other hand, have a real problem with the police, and they always will have a real problem with the police. And that's my fear, is that it's blending into this thing where everybody's thrown into one, and there are a lot of people in those communities that go, fuck, we need the police. We need the police a lot.
Yeah, I don't think it's correct, though, to say that a lot of people in the lowest income areas get along swimmingly. I think there are a lot of people who legitimately feel unfairly treated. And we can talk about what the source of that might be. It might be because they're in high crime areas and cops need to react swiftly and probably painting a broad brush in some instances.
Do you blame them for that?
No, that's what I'm saying. There's circumstances that might warrant that, but I just think it's wrong to say that if you're not a criminal, you're getting along with them. I definitely think there's some legitimacy to these people who tell stories like, look, I'm just out there playing hoops, and they come along and we're all on our faces.
Yeah.
And again, there's probably reason for that somewhere, but is that okay? I don't know. It's a fine line.
Yeah.
And certainly fact specific line, depending on what's going down at that moment.
Yeah. And that's totally fair. And maybe they need to overhaul the whole system. I fear that there's a lot of noise being made and a lot of press being brought for something. We've seen this movie play out many times before. And unfortunately, when the cameras go away, does anybody give a shit? Because this is far less a problem with black versus white than it is poor versus not so poor.
For sure.
That's what this story really is about. And you're seeing that narrative start to flip now, where it's like inner city problems and all the experts and the activists, community activists, are starting to change a little bit to this isn't black and white, especially since that 3 of the cops are black.
Well, there you go.
Changed a lot of that, where you can't just pin this on the racist white police. It doesn't work so well. So
maybe that might be the good news out of this story. Good news out of Baltimore.
This is great news out of Baltimore.
The narrative does flip a little bit. It's nuanced there, but it does flip to that idea that, okay, maybe it's not that it's just because these people are African American. It's these people happen to be African American and poor, and it's the difference in class, if you will.
Yeah,
that's the big problem in the country,
which has been a problem forever. And you know that when you see people that make it out of the ghetto, that make something of themselves, whether they don't continue that life, they move as far and as fast as they can from that scene. It's very rare when someone does well for themselves and sticks around.
That's what's so crazy about like the Gonzalez or Aaron Hernandez, like the Patriots, living that thug life. And every now and then there's guys like that, like, dude, you can't give that up.
Yeah.
Are you serious? Ray Caruth.
His girlfriend. Yep.
What are you doing dabbling in that lifestyle?
Yeah.
Get out of there.
It's insane.
But you're right. Most of them will,
will immediately get out and get on with life.
But there's that tug to keep it real, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah. I saw
Righty, you know how that is.
Oh, I'm keeping it real in Milford, Michigan, always, dude.
Well aware of that.
Hell yes, growing up in Milford, Michigan.
On the manor.
If I ever made it out, I'd have this draw to just keep my commerce roots.
You
So
son
you'd
of a
stick
bitch.
you'd stick at mom and dad's place just to keep it real.
Oh, you know, I wouldn't want
Stay
to
there with Nana,
look
would
like
you?
a sellout.
So maybe it's a long coming discussion about relations in the inner city, but I can almost promise you that once the story isn't as sellable to the media, which is the bottom line, it's about making money. The story isn't sellable and profitable unless people are going outraged and fucking throwing bricks through windows and on a curfew and have their little time out in the city. That's where the story is.
You're right.
That's where the money is. Nepal's going on and 7,000 people are dead, yet it's a blip on the American media because Freddie Gray, an 8-time arrested crack dealer and multi-time convicted crack dealer, died in police custody. You would think the world was coming to an end in this country.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, tens of thousands, up to millions of people are fucked in Nepal. And it's like, oh yeah, we'll get away from our breaking coverage of the Baltimore riots to cover this small story over here where 7,500 people are dead, thousands of others are missing. We'll be right back to Baltimore riots in a second.
Perspective, man.
Perspective.
Can get a little skewed in our media, can't it?
And the problem that I have, and I think, Jay, you have, is when you see this story from afar and it really justifies, hey, fuck, it's us versus them. Cops versus us versus cops. So it gives people that are on the edge a little bit of incentive, or maybe it pushes them over the edge to go and act on, fuck those motherfuckers. Fuck the police. And so for the 5th time now in 5 months, we have a cop shot in the fucking face over the weekend.
Yeah.
With a bullet exiting the back of his head and coming out through the front of his head. He's he's 25 years old. He's in critical condition in New York, city cop. Ex-con blasted 2 bullets into his head on a Queen Street. And this was Saturday night, the 5th to be shot in as many months. The last time a cop was shot and killed in duty was like 8 years ago or 5 years ago in New York.
What was this 2 guys? Didn't you just say 5 months
Outside
ago?
of that,
Okay,
in
okay.
this last run we've had here, which you can absolutely point back to at Ferguson, going the way it did, and then people targeting police.
Yeah, who are those 2 guys just sitting in their car? A guy came out.
Min Jin Lu.
I'm sorry, I don't speak Japanese.
I think that was his name, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Min Jin Lu, and then the other guy. Can't remember.
Does it even matter what their names were? Just
It
say
did
some
that.
Yeah,
Chinese
just for
name
context. Just for context.
Just say a Chinese name so you can press the buttons.
He hates those drops.
I don't feel like Chinese tonight anyway.
But why would it matter that food? What does having the Chinese food have to deal with some guy that's named Chinese? Like,
me sorry, me no speaking Chinese.
I know. I say Min Jin Lao, and Jay doesn't know what the hell I'm talking about. You know why?
Me sorry, me no speaking Chinese.
He doesn't speak Chinese.
well, why does it matter if he wants Chinese for dinner?
He's trying to contribute.
When's the last time
At least he's trying to contribute, you son of a bitch. Instead of pointing out the faults in the show, why don't you try to contribute like Jay's doing over there?
when is the last time Jay's ever had Chinese food?
A few weeks ago. No, that was Thai.
I'm sorry, I don't speak
Thai.
Japanese.
Taiwanese. Officer Brian Moore is his name. He's in a medically induced coma after surgery to relieve pressure on his brain. So they did the goop surgery to him.
Come again?
The goop. Remember the goop was relieving pressure on the brain in Nepal?
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
the goop surgery.
Yes,
Yeah.
dude.
They did the goop.
Yeah,
to him.
he
just took
did brain surgery. Dude, you didn't freaking do
He just
brain
took a-
surgery. You took a fucking knife or a
Hacksaw.
saw to his head, relieve pressure.
Uh,
Oh, by the way, the goop. I saw another follow-up story on him. He like revived somebody. They
Yeah,
said.
I
Give
saw
me a
that
fucking
too.
break. He probably put a smelling salt in front of a kid. Yeah,
He tapped on her heart.
Yeah.
Is what he did.
it's bullshit.
He didn't rip her open. He just tapped on her. It was pretty amazing to see, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They're in a fucking helicopter being flown out. Her husband is there, and she goes into cardiac arrest. She's not breathing. She's done. Eyes roll back in the head. Not breathing.
The goop really
And
saved her.
and the goop is like,
He Miyagi'd her.
he Miyagi'd her, and he fucking massaged her heart and then tapped it. And she was like,
He Miyagi'd her.
yes.
Holy shit!
It was like, all right, I got to give him that. I couldn't have done that. I could have sawed through a skull and taken a
Yeah.
little tiny piece out.
Right.
Any of us in the room could do
Whoa,
that.
no, I couldn't.
Well,
I'd let them I mean,
physically you could.
yes, physically I could do it. I would not do it. I would let someone else do it, or just let them suffer.
Anyway, in this shooting in New York, the suspected gunman Demetrius Blackwell was in custody Saturday night after firing at Moore as the cop approached. Blackwell, who did 7 years behind bars from 01 to 08 and an attempted murder rap, was charged with attempted murder in this case, assault, and a couple counts of criminal possession of a weapon. Moore is bleeding from the brain, took a turn for the worse Sunday morning. He drove by the intersection about 6:15 at night. He and his partner, Officer Eric Jansen, spotted Blackwell, whom they knew because of his long police record. So I suppose they could have just driven on by, but they knew this guy was no good. And anyway, he'd been fiddling with his waistband. So that's why they pulled up. They saw him fucking with his waistband. And what do you know? We always hear that. I saw him reach for his waistband. And that community will point out, that's just their excuse. I was feared for my life. He was reaching for his waistband.
Here's an example.
Yeah.
It reminds
fiddling with his waistband. And before they could get out of their car, he opened fire on him.
You know what that reminds me of? You remember the South Park episode? I think it was like season 1, maybe even. But like they had some episode about hunting laws, and the deal was you could no longer hunt unless you were in danger. So you had to yell, "He's coming right at us!" And they would just yell, "He's coming right at us!" And then boom, 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 and just like drill him.
That's right. I totally remember that.
It's like fucking shotguns.
He's reaching for his waistband.
He'd been fiddling with his waistband. They pulled up behind him. Once he realized they were cops, a few words were exchanged, and then suddenly Blackwell drew a gun and fired 3 shots. He immediately opened fire on them before they had a chance to get out of their vehicle.
How do you get a bullet in the back of his head exiting through the front? Is that what you said at the beginning?
Yeah, because they rolled up on him. They were probably in front of him. Who knows if he turned his head? Yeah, that's what I understood. That he took it in the back of the head and it exited through the front of his head.
Damn.
So he probably the guy pulled the gun and then he turned his head, would be my guess. Blackwell has an extensive rap sheet, convictions for assault on a corrections officer, robbery, and gun possession. This follows the ambush shootings of Wen Jin Lu.
Jesus Christ.
I'll wait.
For what?
I'm sorry, I don't speak Japanese.
And Rafael Ramos.
Those were the two we were thinking of. Yeah.
In Brooklyn in December, and the non-fatal shootings of 2 other officers, Andrew Dossi and Aliro Pellerano in the Bronx in January. Fellow officers placed Moore in a squad car, sped to Jamaica Hospital. He was in critical but stable.
It's a long way to go to the hospital, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, from the Bronx.
Yeah, it does seem a little odd.
Unnecessary, maybe.
Yeah.
Welcome to our country,
Although
man.
Jamaica's pretty awesome, so maybe they just figured they'd go down there.
Can you imagine he wakes up
Soak
from
up
his
a-
coma in Jamaica?
Yeah. The big blunt in his mouth.
That'd be pretty awesome if I got in a coma
that's
and I woke up in
stereotypical,
Jamaica. Yeah, Jay, come on now. Wow, these brash, broad strokes of Jamaicans.
Oh, they all got weed, do they? They all smell of patchouli oil and dreadlocks, do they?
Wow, my God.
Um,
I don't see people like that, Jay. I look at individuals as snowflakes.
do you?
Yes.
Other officers launched a manhunt for this gunman, finding him at a home nearby. With the help of a witness, someone on the street saw him jump over a fence, pushed the gun in his pants. He then ran down the sidewalk and into the driveway of a house 3 houses down. Nice exit and getaway, my man. You go, dude, hop a fence and hop into a house.
Is he doing like the Ferris Bueller escape here? What the fuck's he doing? Running through
Ferris
houses and
Bueller.
shit?
Yeah.
When you put the gun in your pants, aren't you?
Oh,
You're running.
Plaxico Burress, I think, learned the hard way.
Right.
with the
Yeah.
Gun in the waistband.
Good point.
It's not a smart move, it feels like.
So they went over there to the house and they found him and arrested him. Police gathered. They didn't turn their backs on de Blasio. De Blasio made a statement and they didn't turn their backs on him. It had been 4 years since before December, before an NYPD officer had been killed.
Wow. 4 years?
4 years on duty, killed.
That's crazy, kind
I
of.
thought you said 8 before.
I said 5 or 8. I wasn't sure. I couldn't remember.
Nice, Jay.
I'm sure some listeners were going, didn't he say 8?
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know.
it was 4. 4,
Okay.
which is
It was half of 8.
I lied. I lied. I couldn't remember. You want to see? You want to see the goop?
I wanna
Revive
see
this
it.
shit?
Wait a minute. Whoa, whoa.
Hey, that's fair, Mike.
Oh,
that's fair.
Thank you.
A fair mistake. It could have been made by anyone.
I ask your forgiveness,
Yeah,
and I
absolutely.
I'm glad you
He
granted it. I
didn't
appreciate
he
that.
didn't
Jay.
forget. He
It's
just
no
said he
problem.
lied.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, that's
Thank
not
you
a problem.
for that.
Could you imagine if I'd made a stat up like that and just said, I lied? This shit
Hey,
doesn't even fucking.
We're
I was
moving
winging
on.
it.
We're moving on. We got to see the Goop
Okay.
revive this chick.
I couldn't help but look at her. You know,
Who's the goop? That,
You
On the
mean
left.
who's the Goop?
you don't know the.
no.
But I just
Sanjay Gupta?
Oh,
A
sorry.
quick, strong hit to the chest, and a last-ditch effort to shock Sabina's heart back into action. Whether it worked or not, I can't say for sure.
Oh, jeez, what
She
an
came
asshole.
back.
Back it up a little
For
bit,
a moment,
Kadog. She was
Everything
out
calms
before.
down. I slowly try and
Did it?
rehydrate her.
Yeah, she looks out.
He's kind of shaking her. He's still doing his interview though with the cameras.
Yeah.
Then things get worse.
Well, he's a
Minutes into our
professional.
flight now, Sabina
did
stops
he?
breathing.
I was going to say, is he
We
going
can
to
no
take some
longer
liberties?
detect a pulse, either
He
on
is.
her wrist or in her neck. I check her pupils and try
liberties.
desperately to rouse her as we blast.
Oh, he's taking liberties. Some liberties.
The husband gets all riled up.
Hey, you!
Let's
go for titties. Psychopath Goop.
Taking some liberties.
This young woman.
Look at that. Did you see that move?
Yeah,
Back it up.
dude.
Look at that. Back it up just a hair.
Okay.
It is aggressive.
Look at the goop here. This is out of control.
Miyagi's are.
Aggressive.
Keep going back more.
And this
Look
young
at that.
woman
Yeah,
is
what the
going
fuck?
into cardiac arrest.
That's it.
Was that him or the husband
It's
doing
aggressive.
that?
No, that was goop.
But I just delivered a cardiac.
Looked like he was doing the tune in Tokyo to her
God, is he
titties.
in love with himself?
Tune in Tokyo, you're right.
Whether
Some-
it worked or not, I can't.
We
say
don't
for
see the
sure,
moment of
but
impact,
she
though.
came back.
He must
I-
have really
A
grabbed
quick,
them,
strong hit
Yeah.
to the chest.
right?
Yeah, he pulled up her shirt over her head. He unhooked her bra,
Took some major liberties.
and then he put his mouth on her left titty, and with his right hand on her right titty, he then smacked in between his mouth and her hand, and boom.
Avoiding the xiphoid tip.
Yes.
It is aggressive, but I just
Yeah, he must have taken liberties.
Yeah.
Because they cut it.
He mounted her.
No eyes and fluids on this helicopter.
All of a sudden, she went from dead to alive, and her shirt's untucked. I don't know. It's crazy.
took some liberties. Like, why would that? I mean, I couldn't blame him, but
Hey, before moving on, read that. And then I got
From here?
to tell you about a communication I had with your
Uh-oh.
nemesis.
By the
Uh-oh.
way, before E does that, can I reference your Shakespeare shirt?
Sure.
That, my friend, is the outfit you were wearing in that famous picture I've talked about. That's-
What?
That's almost identical to the outfit you were wearing in that Shakespeare picture.
The Bard's outfit
Yes.
on my shirt.
Yes.
Oh,
which also is a Normcore shirt, by the way.
I think you dreamt this, dude.
Dude, I'm telling you, I'm going to find it.
Okay.
Anybody that went to Harrison, graduated with Jay and I knows it was either in a yearbook or it was in what was the monthly Harrison Hawk?
Dude. Who knows?
Stupid paper that no
Yeah,
one
the
reads.
school paper. It's either in that or one of the yearbook photos or something.
I was on the Lakeland school paper first semester. I did a movie review one time.
Did you guys? I always felt like you guys put yourselves in the yearbook way more than other
Oh,
people.
yeah. Everybody on
Dude,
yearbook.
I didn't run
is
yearbook.
all
I didn't
over it.
go.
Flooded in
I didn't
it.
run yearbook. I just was like at Lakeland to be part of the school paper. It was like a class. So like I was in the class.
So you had to be in
that did-
normal rotation. You couldn't
Yeah.
be in the retard section.
Yeah, I didn't.
Special letters couldn't make it.
I think I only wrote one article, like I said, that made it, and it was a review on a movie or something. But I think I did a sports one too. I
All
don't
right,
know.
specs for
Anyway.
us. Go.
I
Just
I don't
you spent a lot
have
of
it.
you spent a lot of money on it. Take it for a
I
spin.
don't have
Let's
that
go.
voice.
Specs
Take it
voice.
for a spin.
It's
put it through the paces.
let's go.
Come on.
As you, I don't have it. As you know, I'm Big E, and I don't do well with big words or live reads. So Steve, my boss, Steve, an all-around nice fellow, has decided to use all simple words for my new read. Here we go. Zot Ford has really good deals, and employees are very nice and pretty. From time to time, they feed me and make me feel special. Also, Zot Ford has won many fancy awards, and I'm guessing we are nice to our customers. I would be super duper happy if you would come by a new or used car at Zot Ford, because then I can keep my job. By the way, Anal Hyman is still in good shape in case anyone cares or whatever.
Good. That was a good Specs voice. He's got it, man.
I tried.
You're getting it back. Your professors would be proud.
Now, I want you to continue to think positively, E, because in a communique I received today from
Communicate. No, I just love that word. Communicate.
from Adam in Colorado,
Uh-oh.
your opponent in November's marathon.
Yeah.
How's that Anal Hyman doing?
He recently ran a half.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
What is a good
Uh-oh.
what is a good time for a half marathon?
I
what
wanna
did
know
you
what
do,
his-
Jay?
I'm an old guy, and I ran a 151,
Here, let me write.
and I was pretty happy with that.
You were. So
I mean, not thrilled. It's not great by any means, but
So
that's
no one-
okay.
knowing what we know about Adam, he's probably in the 2-hour mark, right? For a half marathon.
This is what I'm
no.
guessing. This is what I'm guessing.
No.
I'm thinking 2 hours.
Okay,
Probably.
he's guessing 142. He ran it in an hour 29.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
The look on his face.
that's
Yeah.
like a 7-minute mile.
Did you just
One-
clinch your asshole, E?
Pretty good.
Is that what
Just
you did?
just under a
29.
7-minute, if my
But I'm gonna
math is correct.
I think I'm gonna. I think I'm just gonna
Quit?
assume,
Renege on the bet?
assume that he won't be able to keep up that
Right.
pace for a second half.
Right. So
But which
he's
he definitely
probably going to
won't,
go
but I mean-
315, right, overall
Yeah.
with that. But he's
My
got
goal's-
till November.
I
That's the
know.
problem.
My goal is 310.
Okay.
That's your goal. Have you ever done that?
309 actually.
All right.
309 is my goal. No, if not.
Do we know what Adam's goal is?
We don't, but I bet it's 308 now.
I know.
I should have shut the
Should I
fuck
just
up.
play my hand.
Yeah, you should. Well, maybe he's doing that now. Maybe he's playing a poker hand right now, and his real time is 3:01.
That's what me and E are doing right now, right, E?
That's right.
Yeah.
I had a text.
Did you
don't-
just
don't
try to
have say
wink
it.
like a retard?
He can't wink.
I can't.
Of course he can't. Of course he can't
You
wink.
can, but the
What did I do?
the subtlety of a good wink is what makes it effective. You can't go.
Your whole face,
Your
and
whole
your whole
face
body
winks.
isn't supposed to move.
No, I know.
It's
you
just
know,
your eye, dude.
Well, I would like to exaggerate it like as a joke. I'm not really
Oh,
trying
that
to.
was a joke
I'm
you were
not trying to
doing.
be like or something.
All right, do a real wink, like you'd wink at the guy across the bar.
Yeah.
girl. I
Just
can't.
do it. Like
Who
you,
am I
just
winking
picture
at?
that. Like Kadog's the guy across the bar.
I don't know how to do it now.
Well, you're switching eyes. All of a sudden,
He's
you
blinking
can't decide which eye. Pick an eye.
Okay.
You got to pick an eye and go with that. All right, wink at Kadog. Huh? What do you think, Kadog? Was that hot?
It's more creepy than hot.
Yeah, it was.
It's really
He does a
creepy.
head nod
Yeah.
and it's very over exaggerated. There's nothing subtle about
Tourette's
it.
was involved in that wink.
Yeah.
that was not.
That's
right.
You know what though? I'm feeling pretty good about my dedication. I.e., my text to Jay this week.
Had a
I
good
mean,
run. What, Saturday morning?
Yeah, and that was like I woke up at 5:30 to do that. I mean, I was running at 6 a.m. on Saturday to get it to make sure I got something in before work, so I would not be like tired later. So
Good man.
I'm just thinking my dedication is starting to get definitely on a step up here the last couple of weeks.
I'm a believer, man.
Are you?
Yes.
Still?
Discipline and dedication right there.
I mean, that definitely has to count for something. The fact that I was willing to get up and run it was only 5 miles, but still.
Is all that matters his effort?
That
Is that all
really
you care
shouldn't
about,
count
Jay?
for much because you're going to have to do that probably another 45 times.
I know, but I'm saying
So
how I feel.
don't
I'm
get
just saying
too happy about yourself.
I'm not that happy about it, but I'm saying I think it's a good sign.
As long as he puts forth the effort, is that all you care about?
No.
Oh,
No, he's going to
Sorry.
win.
This is not whether it wins or loses.
I don't get a
playing the
bike
game.
from Adam unless he
Well,
wins.
actually,
Now, of course, if you lose, I get your bike. so-
yeah. I was gonna say, as long as his anus gets penetrated, his hymen is broken. Then,
like his hymen's going to break at that point.
yeah, that's true. It's if it's not already blown out by now.
It's been
Hey,
Yeah.
by
to
the way,
smithereens.
this was the actual. It said, "Dude, I just had a very good pre-work 5-mile run. We're gonna get you that bike."
What did I reply?
Good. Keep up the planks and kegels. I'll give you some more workout this week. What are kegels gonna do?
You're gonna strengthen your stream.
They're going to help your partner who's penetrating you on the Vegas Strip enjoy it more. It's going to get hit in the eye.
Hey, before we move on from everything in Baltimore, E, you're a Walking Dead fan, right?
Yeah, except I haven't watched the entire last season.
So you're
But
not
yeah.
that big of a fan. Jay, you
I
probably
just
don't.
haven't, dude. I just haven't. I'm not gonna. We don't have to explain, but I just have not been able to get and watch that whole season. I
Yeah.
watched like 2 episodes, and then I went weeks where something happened, and I keep I have all 15 episodes literally on my DVR. So
I don't have cable, so
Yeah, but you did at one point. Did you ever watch The Wire? Were you a fan of The Wire?
no, that took place in Baltimore, didn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
I remember it being on. That was a long time ago, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was when you had cable.
Hmm.
It was on, and it was. I mean, there's a lot of people that put The Wire up there with The Sopranos.
I've heard
People
very good
love
things
The
about The
Wire.
Wire. Yeah, I never
Yeah.
watched it personally.
Yeah, I
Did you ever?
started watching it, I think on Netflix, but certainly haven't gotten enough into it to feel like some people do, which critically people love that show. Anyway, one of the actors, Chad Coleman, who you'll know, recognize him there?
Oh yeah.
Chad
Stop.
Coleman apologized Saturday because on Friday he flipped out on passengers on a New York City train. Went on a little subway rant. The actor blamed his 3-minute rant Friday on built-up frustration caused by Freddie Gray's death
No,
in Baltimore and insisted he wasn't boozed up.
come on,
Dude, remember when the Michael Brown thing happened and students were saying they need to delay tests and shit?
Oh,
Everybody's
yes.
just is grabbing this as their personal crutch, right?
Yes.
Well,
totally.
it's a get out of jail free
Yeah.
card. Well, it's Freddie Gray and all.
I wish I'd had something over the weekend where I just yelled at somebody and
you
could have just.
Yeah, you blame it on Freddie Gray.
I'm so distraught.
When you lose this race, do not blame Freddie Gray.
Well, no, but then it'll be a new person. There'll be
Yeah,
a new
there'll be a
scapegoat.
new guy.
Are you kidding me?
You can
Michael
blame-
Brown will be long gone, and Freddie Gray will be a new guy.
Well, Coleman lost it. Apparently he heard someone say the N-word. I don't know if it was a black guy or a white guy. They don't say, and he started ranting about humanitarians. And personally, I think he was drunk. His delivery sounds just slurry enough, or it's more that slowed down cadence when you've had a few drinks, not so much like the blithering drunk
Right.
guy. But I know what his acting is like, so I know what his speaking voice is like, and he sounds slow to me. Go ahead.
Want to know where my humanitarians are? Yes, I'm Chad L. Coleman. I'm on The Wire, The Walking Dead. I'm not trying to wait, okay? But you, I'm telling you the truth. Yes, I'm an actor.
Filmed in portrait?
Yep, of course. He plays Tyrese on The Walking Dead.
My name is Chad L. Coleman. I'm on The Wire, The Walking Dead. Wow,
twice, huh?
Where is your humanitarian? Where is it, brother?
This goes for 3 minutes.
Don't tell me I'm making this up. A humanitarian. If you can, can.
Okay. I'm a
That's
humanitarian.
the goddamn truth. So if you need to write about it, you need to record it. Get your phone out. And when you
Please do
record
some
what I
landscape.
said, tell me what the you exposed. Nothing but the truth. Don't play with me.
These guys sitting there, it's just like, yep, just going
Stone
to work.
face, yep. Just trying to get to work on a Friday.
I'm gonna be Chad L. Coleman. I'ma say it.
He's really proud of being Chad L. Coleman, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't care, man.
He doesn't care.
I think the drunkenness really comes out when he's sitting down across from this guy in a minute. People are like, okay, time to get off here. This isn't my stop.
But
This is where I think he sounds more drunk to me.
I love The Wire. I love The Wire, man.
Thank you, brother.
Dude, that show. Dude, and Cuddy, best character.
Was it a story that was told that was trying to lie to you?
What do you mean? No, not at all. It's very real. Very real.
That's what I do.
Yeah, he's
Real.
Yeah.
I like it.
fucking drunk.
What are you doing being drunk as shit first thing in the morning?
Yelling on a subway.
Wow. He just sounds like a fucking drunk guy.
yeah, if he wasn't on those shows, this would just be some guy,
Yeah.
some drunk
All right,
bum
sir.
rambling.
And you can tell that by the people around him just sitting there like,
Yeah.
just a day in the life.
Let's just get through this.
Yep.
And once those doors open, I'll be
Happens
exiting stage left.
every fifth or so ride on this subway. Yeah.
Yep. Some guy's going to claim to be Jesus and storm through the aisles. This is a new version of that.
That's a good point. Like if you didn't watch The Wire or The Walking Dead, and he's saying this, but you might just think it's just some.
Oh, I would totally not have thought that guy was a real actor.
Yeah.
I'm like fucking nuts.
Whatever, dude. He later insisted he wasn't drunk, just upset. It was all just a big mistake, a relative at his home who answered the door said, referencing his odd behavior. Oh,
A big mistake.
big mistake. What's the mistake about? If you were upset, there's nothing wrong with being upset. And
Yeah, what
Voicing
is the
your
mistake?
opinion?
Is the mistake that he was drunk? You're
then
right.
he got hammered and fucking went on a rant on a bus
because
or a subway train.
right, he's clearly that's him and ranting. So what was the mistake? He's trying to voice his opinion, I suppose.
So he's a current character on that Walking Dead.
Well, sort of.
Oh, son of a
spoiler
bitch.
alert! Spoiler alert!
Son of a bitch. It's my fault for being 15 episodes back.
Yeah, you can't blame me for that. I think he
Well, we don't
exited.
need them for. You don't have to rub in my face.
Yeah, but he was a big character for many seasons. And I haven't seen him on The Wire in the handful of episodes I've seen, but apparently he's got Chad L. Coleman has a big enough role on The Wire. But
Yes.
Did that guy, real quick, did that guy trying to tell him, like, I love The Wire and your character? Do you think he was just trying to fucking say something to keep him, like,
Oh yeah, keep
probably.
him talking.
Like, it's
Hey
so-
man, you're awesome.
Yeah.
Woo, as him filming in
it
portrait.
just seemed like kind of funny because, typical kind of, or like that typical white guy that's just trying to tell the black guy, like, yeah, man, you were the best one on there, just trying to, I don't
What do
know.
you mean what's that mean? Would you do
Like
that?
a white guy trying to tell some black guy that I like Dr. Dre.
You think that's what he's doing? I think he was just keeping him talking.
You think so?
Yeah. The other big story over the weekend had to have been what they were billing as the Super Bowl, the World Cup, and the Olympics, all rolled into one. Of course, talking about the Manny Pacquiao and Mayweather fight. And I'm sure you didn't see it, Jay. I know you were busy. You saw the fight itself.
Yeah, I didn't see any of the. I saw it on a website that just played literally just the
Just the
fighting.
fight.
It did not. I didn't see any replays. I didn't see any of the people, the pomp and circumstance, as it were.
Mhm. It was fucking brutal. It was brutal.
I feel like
It
would
was
be,
so
yeah.
bad.
I could see it being
I mean-
worse, seeing it how you watched it almost. Like, as opposed to me just seeing nonstop action, even though it wasn't action. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, it was just, I don't know. When you think of like boxing, you think of knockouts, you think of big flurries. This was just a dance and a couple pops. Neither guy had a bruise on their face at the end of the fight. Neither guy was bleeding.
Wow.
And Mayweather made over $180 million on this fight.
Oh my
Pacquiao
God.
made over $120 million on this fight.
dude.
Yeah.
and it's like, for what?
It crashed. I've got DirecTV. It crashed DirecTV. They had to
Delay it.
delay the fight because so many people ordered this fight that it was crashing the server for DirecTV. That's how watched this thing was.
$100, right?
Yeah, $89 or $99. Yeah, it was brutal. And it was, I mean, they were trying everything they could to sell it during the fight. Like, oh yeah, this is the fight of the century. And no, it fell
They're just
so
dancing
flat.
around.
Yeah. I mean, it fell so flat. Now the excuse is already coming with Pacquiao's camp has come out and said he had a right shoulder injury,
Right.
which prevented him from fighting at his best. Nevada officials denied Pacquiao's request to take an anti-inflammatory shot in his dressing room before the fight Saturday night. The chairman of the Nevada Las Vegas Athletic Commission said the ruling was Pacquiao's fault for not mentioning his injury sooner. It's part of the game. I don't want to make alibis or complain or anything, but it's hard to fight one-handed. That's what
I don't want to
He
make
said-
any. Yeah, but I was fighting one-handed, not making excuses.
Right. Exactly. When you are making an excuse.
he's left-handed anyways, but he doesn't look like he's fighting one-handed to me.
Yeah, the few moments that he had that he really put on, some combos, I guess, as it were, like, right, it didn't seem any different to me.
Yeah.
Granted, I don't know him. I've never seen him fight. Like, other than this, only time I've ever seen him fight, so I don't know.
Doesn't it look like his trunks are like sponsored by Super Bubble Gum? You know?
Yeah. Yes. The double bubble
They're
is
double
it?
bubble. Yeah.
Double bubble.
That shit you get at Halloween, you throw it in your mouth, and it tastes good for like 3 seconds.
Yeah, and then you got to spit it out and put
Yeah.
a new piece in. Apparently the injury he's got is the same one that's put Kobe out for the year.
Really?
That rotator cuff. So I don't know. He got hurt sometime in mid-March.
So they were injecting it ever since, and they wouldn't let him inject it the night of the fight.
That's what it sounds like. They thought that he would be allowed to have an anti-inflammatory shot because he had similar treatment during training. The shots also
You'd think you'd confirm that.
you would think, and that's where the discrepancy comes because some people are saying, "Oh, we let him know 5 days early. the Nevada commission is saying, no, they let us know at 6:30 Saturday night, right before the fight, giving us no time.
You'd think you'd get one somehow if you really needed it that bad.
Yeah, and especially when you think
wouldn't you?
The shots are approved by the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're illegal shots.
Right.
Yeah, Top Rank filed incorrect paperwork about the inquiry, and the Nevada Commission ruled against the request for a shot.
I bet he got it. It's just a big excuse.
You think so?
Yeah. They probably ruled against him, and then he went in the bathroom. They gave it to him anyway.
Really?
And this is just I lost, so here's my excuse.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Why not? Why wouldn't he get it? Why wouldn't he have his doctor just bring it in, quickly inject it?
Because I think they're so onto those guys that they have people with them every step of the way. Maybe not. I hadn't thought about that possibility, that he had it anyways. I don't know. They said that he didn't disclose the injury the night before, so permission to take the shot and to have a personal doctor in his corner was denied. We were not aware of his injury until 6:30 tonight. The medications he was taking were disclosed on his medical questionnaire, but not the actual inquiry. This isn't our first fight. This is our business. There is a process. And when you try to screw with the process, it's not going to work out for you.
How about this? What if he was never getting the shots, and this is just a built-in excuse? He created a record for an excuse should he lose.
Wow,
the
that's
way
a
you
pretty
think.
big conspiracy theory, Dave.
For the rematch, knowing they could make the money all over again.
Oh, they're going to do it again, right? They've got to.
I don't know. Floyd claims
there is a lot of backlash. So all I heard all the way over here was, "Oh, fuck that fight," you know.
Yeah, it was bullshit. I mean, even fighters like Tyson and Oscar De La Hoya and those guys were coming out like fucking bullshit. You know, to have two fighters dance around like that all night. And I think it was more Mayweather, who's known as a defensive fighter. I mean, he's some guy that plays really good defense, but when you're talking about the fight of the century times 50, you know, that's the fight of the decade times 50.
Just neither guy really wanted to engage, huh? They're just dancing. For 12 rounds.
Mayweather kept locking him up, and then they'd break.
The worst.
There's nothing worse. And I don't know, like I used to think that heavyweights are the shit. Heavyweights are like, I mean,
that's the funny thing to me. I was saying that to my dad about this. Like, this is the biggest fight since whenever, and all this talk and all the hype. And then I knew it, but it just hit me when I watched it that every round it would say the welterweight champion, and I thought, who the fuck is even the heavyweight champion? Right? We don't even know. Yeah. I don't know. Do you know who the heavyweight champion is?
No, we're in a really bad period for boxing.
Like, this is the biggest match in the years is
That's
welterweight
part
champion.
Of what plays into this is it's just been so dry for
Could
so long.
this kill boxing?
UFC has been killing boxing.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
UFC, there's just so much more action. And
I think there's more of a belief that it tends to be more legitimate,
right?
That it's not the commission and who 49-0 really, like, you know, and who does he really fight and how are those, you know, stats drawn? I don't know.
Should have known early the undercard. When the undercard, you would think an undercard for $100 a person pay-per-view
would be really
kick-ass. You would figure you'd have midgets on there. First off, you would think you'd have a female cards can be hilarious.
I think you misspoke. Fidgets.
I'm sorry. Yeah. It's late. And you would think that you would have some honest to God up and coming contenders going head to head.
Right.
This was like, this is believed to be one of the top featherweights out there. And it's like, okay, cool. And then he's fighting some guy they found 5 days ago who's been trained on. It's like,
are you serious? For real?
Yeah, they were like totally not worthy. And just kind of
MGM and the fucking
on the pay-per-view card, there were only 3 fights total, including Mayweather Pacquiao.
So there's only 2.
There were 2 undercards, and they were both total mismatches. And it sounded like they just kind of threw like this guy to the wolves, and he's working his way up. I mean, they were ass whoopings.
Wow.
And one guy landed 3 punches.
What?
Or 4 punches.
Jeez. Dude.
Yeah. And the other guy landed, 200. But neither of them had the power to knock the other guy out. I mean, it was a joke.
Wow.
It was a joke. Yeah. It was.
How do you not have it? You know, you're right. Like, obviously, you know what you're paying for, but still, how do you not have?
Yeah, it was crazy. I'm used to the old Tyson days where you'd get everybody together and watch those fights.
All 9 seconds.
Yeah, but they were awesome. They were so fucking
events.
Great. Those Tyson fights back in the day, or Lennox Lewis and Tyson and Holyfield, and like those were. Look at that shit.
Yeah.
Nothing even close.
Or how about Hagler Hearns? Shit like that.
Yeah. God,
he just walks
Yeah.
out, boom.
Oh,
and then
he was evil, man.
Hearn stole my seat once. Still
Really?
not happy about it. Yeah. I had ringside seats for a fight. It
Yeah.
was a small fight.
Where
and,
You got Hearns.
I got Hearns. It's kind of like your story with, your burrito.
Scherzer.
You got Scherzer. Yeah, Amy was doing a ring announcing.
So is that the Palace? Or?
No, it was at somewhere. It was at a smaller venue. And I went up to the bathroom real quick for a minute. And I was like, yeah, save my seat. And they're like, yeah, no problem. Ringside. Like, yeah, no problem.
Right.
And I get up. Tommy Hearns shows up. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to sit ringside and shit. And everyone's like, oh, absolutely. Here you go. Here's your seat. And I came
Right.
back and it's like, they're like, dude, it's Tommy Hearns. What are you going to do? Sorry. Fuck you. But it's Tommy Hearns.
Remember the Pistons games back in the day at the Silverdome? And we talked about the curtain and all that shit. But another thing I always remember was Hearns coming in with his entourage. They're all dressed in suits and
Yeah.
shit, you know,
yeah.
just sitting down with like 8 guys just all decked out.
He showed up to Arthur Penhollow's, I don't know what anniversary it was or birthday party. I mean, it was pretty star-studded. Kid Rock was there. Tommy Hearns came, and Hearns was there in a purple suit, dressed to the fucking nines. And some drunken idiot that worked at Riff was like, I'm the biggest fan, and spilled a fucking drink all over him.
Geez.
Like 20 seconds after he walked in the door. Like
Wow.
not into the night, just like right out of the gate. It was so embarrassing.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we're looking at old replays of Tyson.
You could watch his whole career in what?
Yeah, in 1 3-minute clip. He's just a beast.
Yeah.
Why don't we take a quick break and we'll come back and we'll talk about some of the survivors at the in Nepal. Some interesting survivors there, and then Big Bird. We'll tell you what's going on with Big Bird. Who knew the stress in Big Bird's life?
Interesting.
We almost
stuff.
lost Big Bird. At
I
one
know.
point too.
That was surprising to read.
Insane. We'll discuss that and much more next.
The Detroit Cast continues after this short break.
Hey TDC friends, you know who it is, Steve Gabarra, the general manager at Zod Ford and Holly. As Jay mentioned before, Zod Ford is all about offering our customers choices. Bruce Jenner chose to be a chick, Big E chose to be normcore, and Jay has foolishly chosen to be Big E's trainer. That's how life goes. Well, now you can choose which new Ford you'd like to enjoy. Right now, lease a new 2015 Fiesta, Focus, or Fusion for just $145 a month for only 24 months. Friends, even the cult leader will agree. These deals are too good to pass up. Just $145 for a new Fiesta, Focus, or Fusion. Hurry down to Zot Ford at I-75 and exit 98, or check out our sick deals and our massive inventory at zotford.com. Get there.
cast continues now, bitches. Here's Mike and Jay.
Welcome back to the Detroit Cast on a Monday with Mike and Jay. K-Dog just told me something really funny. He was saying, I was asking if our counter was running. You know, we've got a timer here. It tells us when to shut the fuck up and shut it down.
I'm familiar with it, yeah.
And we ignore it most of the time, but you know, it's very hard sometimes to tell if you've done 30 minutes of show or 3 hours of show.
You're right.
It's good to just kind of have that in the background. Some days feel like it feels like you've been on the show for 12 hours and it's really been 30 minutes. And those aren't the good ones. And sometimes all of a sudden it's at 2 hours and you can't believe it. But anyway, we've got a backup recording that takes place on the laptop over there. And K-Dog said it was still running from last Thursday's show.
Oh, shit.
Mickey had left it on inadvertently, which I think I've done before, but for like the next day's show.
Yeah.
So it was recording for 66 hours.
Oops.
Were you ever down here during the weekend? Do you think you were ever down here? Would we have audio of?
We get some good data.
Yeah, I was down here whacking off on the board for a little bit, but other than that,
no, I was just wondering if there's randomly
honestly, I hadn't stepped foot down here at all. The door was open for a while, so Pants was down here at one point.
Oh,
yeah, Pants opened the door.
Maybe we have some audio of Pants pissing on the floor.
Perhaps.
Pissing on the wall over there.
We do have some pissing audio to get to. We'll get to that shortly. But
by the way, ever since you started doing that, I've been noticing like that's really how chicks pee.
You didn't notice that before?
I mean, sort of, kind of. But now it's really like striking me like, it's like a thumb over a garden hose.
Yeah, I know. Every time Beth is in the bathroom, it's like, I'll do that. I'll be in my room and I'll just be going. She's like,
crazy.
Not funny.
I bet you'll find it even more funny that you told that story.
Every once in a while,
people didn't know she peed.
Every once in a while, if it's that time of the month,
we've disclosed something secret.
Yeah, breaking
Beth
news.
pees.
Brett, every once in a while, like once a month, she'll be in there. It'll just sound like a normal stream, and then and then all of a sudden it'll be like, "Oh, I forgot," and then
what?
I'm kidding.
Jeez.
Oh yeah, she
scared
forgot.
the hell out of me.
I'll just hear, and then the floodgates open. No, but here at Radio for One Studios, we were, trying to recover and make sure we had rescue operations if needed for the earthquake that hit Michigan.
Oh yeah,
over the weekend.
Actually registered pretty high, dude. 4.2.
Yeah.
Did you feel it? I don't really pay attention to that shit, but isn't it like 6, 7 is where you're getting into some real damage?
Well,
typically
the difference between a 7 and an 8 is like double.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those like compound interest things.
Yeah.
So when people go, it was just a 6. Well, a 6 can be pretty fucking strong. And when you go from like a 7.2 to an 8.2 can be massive.
Okay.
So a 4.2 though is,
Did you feel it?
I didn't feel it. My mom totally did in Brighton.
Huh.
She absolutely, and she's in San Francisco half the year. So she's quite familiar with what an earthquake is like. But apparently
She's sure that wasn't just Bob.
Oh,
was that a sex joke? Son of a bitch.
Bob swoops in.
I think she would know the difference between.
Anyway, it was the third earthquake in the last 42 years in Michigan. 4.2, as Jay said, struck right around Kalamazoo, about 9 miles southeast of Kalamazoo, about noon 30 on Saturday. Did anybody feel it?
No, I didn't.
I didn't.
I've felt one in the past. I don't remember when, but I remember there being one many years ago that I felt it just barely. You just kind of feel like a little. What was it? Was it your grandpa who was saying like you could see it coming?
Yeah.
He was just talking about that last week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. You could
look up in the hills and see it,
the mountains, and see it like through the trees.
That's wild.
And then all of a sudden it's on you. Yeah, crazy. So lower parts of the state were worst hit: northern Indiana, northwest Ohio, eastern Illinois, southeastern Wisconsin, and western Ontario were also impacted. People as far as Chicago and Toledo felt the earthquake too. No injuries or damage though, so that's good. Good news. I think structurally we're sound here.
Good.
Yeah,
it's good to hear. Kazoo made it through.
And speaking of By the way, before we get there, how did your comedy go, E?
Oh,
You were in Flint
yeah.
Friday.
Saturday. Man, that was quite a. You know, it's funny. When I first was going to go there, I looked at a map and I thought that's kind of on the outskirts of Flint, so it's probably not too bad. It was a rough area.
Was it?
It was kind of rough.
It's Flint. What did you expect?
No, but there was like I've done it before where there's like a suburb of Flint isn't really that. This was like it was funny. I thought it was very funny because the parking lot around it had a fence with a barbed wire, and I thought, oh, thank God they're keeping out the people that don't have a ladder. Like I don't know, but anyway, it went really good. I thought that was funnier than.
Is that kind of how it went Saturday?
Did you use that on stage Saturday?
I almost did, but I'm glad I didn't now.
I'm still thinking about that.
I don't know. I thought it was funny. I'm glad I was going to say that on stage as a kind of a joke when I walked in there or whatever.
Yeah, we know. We get it.
Anyway.
Why you would say that.
But anyway, no, I don't remember his name. And I told Jay already, and I forgot what it was already. But some dude and his girlfriend came out. They drove 70 miles to be there.
Really? Did you give him a show?
I tried. I don't know if they.
Did anyone laugh?
Yeah, people were laughing. It was a very sparse crowd. It was just at like a VFW hall, or I mean, it was an Eagles club. So I guess I don't know if that's the same thing. I don't know how those work, but there was probably like 9 comedians and
9 people.
Yeah, I had 4.
One got up, got on stage. That guy sat down.
I think there was 5 people that were there. No, 6 that weren't comedians. But like I had 4. Some other guy had 2, so maybe 7. I had 4. This other guy had 2.
So 4 listeners came out to see you?
Yes.
Cool.
And then there was one random lady that was just laughing at anything that anyone said very loudly. It didn't matter what the joke was. Everything was just like, oh, hell yeah. This girl just at the Eagles club Saturday night by herself, just probably drunk. I don't know.
Did she even find you funny?
Yeah, dude. Everything I said, like it was just like everything. Every joke someone said, it felt like she could relate. Almost, she was just like, "Oh yeah," there's something repeating jokes or.
So did you try some new shit out?
Not really. Well, here the problem was I told this one guy that has come a few times. There's one couple that's come like a few times, but when I go to a new place, I try to do quote unquote some of my better stuff, and unfortunately some of my better stuff is the stuff he's already heard a few times. But I try to do it because there's people I haven't been to, and I want those people to think I'm okay because they haven't seen me before. So you want the other 3 people to hear your new shit, but you know the people who drove 72 miles have already heard it all. That's a conundrum.
It is.
Yes.
What about a mixture?
What about changing it up on the fly?
I don't believe in that. I set my list, Jay, before I leave the house, and that's what it is. No, sometimes I've changed before. I don't know. I thought they got good stuff. I don't know. Anyway, thank you for those people. My God, though, I didn't know what to say. I kept saying thank you, and to a point where I just had to say like, okay, you can only tell them thank you.
I told you to say hi to them from me because I was texting with you.
I know, and I forgot to do that.
You did. Well, I told E, if you're listening, couple, I told him specifically to say thank you and say hello from Jay and I.
Although I did share him.
He did not do that.
I told him the same thing, and he responded, I told him to fuck off. Does that work? Like, yeah, perfect, dude.
Although I did share them the text that we had about where Mike professed that he was proud of me.
What? What? Whoa. Get your hand out of your pants.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
No, this is what it said. He asked me if I wanted to watch the fight. I was doing comedy. And then
I totally forgot what he was doing.
Then he said, I forgot about Flint. Nakum Daddy, I'm proud of you. And then I replied, thanks, faggot.
And then I told him to suck a dick or sit on one.
And I showed that to the listener.
Your choice. It's something like that.
Man.
I'm not comfortable with people saying they're proud of me.
Dude, I know I am proud of you. I know how hard it is to get on a stage in front of strangers with a microphone. That's fucking hard to do.
If those people, I told the people that were there, and it's, of course, again, I've said, like, it's amazing that people would come out to see me. But if those people aren't there, That's my Saturday night. Like some people in my age group now have families or this or that. And my Saturday night was driving 50 minutes to some shitty bar in Flint to, if those people hadn't been there, telling these jokes to 4 people.
Dude, that's a pretty cool story to be able to tell though somewhere down the line.
No,
I
love it. No,
Give it a shot.
No, I love it. Like I love like kind of the quote unquote, not the romance of it, but like kind of the fight, the struggle of it. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying though, it is a funny thing that like that was my night, like that was my Saturday. And when you said the idea of being proud of, like it takes
I wasn't really.
I know,
Yeah.
but it takes. I think it
Came
takes
off
something
wrong.
away from not just going to. I could have gone. There was a bonfire that night with some friends.
A bonfire, yeah.
Yeah, I love a good
I love
bonfire.
Oh, whatever.
bonfires,
My
too.
point was, I think it takes something to go on a Saturday night instead of just doing.
Is that what they have in the Middle East all the time? Bomb fires?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Is that what
Fuck
it
you
was?
guys.
Yeah,
I don't know. This is what I fucking get for having 30 seconds of being emotional on something.
We certainly do lead different lives. I had family game night Saturday night.
See?
I Wii bowled and shit like that.
That's fun, dude. Wii bowling. I know
It's still
like
fun
old.
12 years
Right.
later.
I know it's old now, but you know what? When I go to like some of those hotels, when I would go to like the Funnies or stuff like that, back in the day, it didn't work with hotel TVs, but nowadays they're all flat screens.
Nowadays, yeah, you're right.
Well,
no, you're right.
Whatever. I don't care. I said it wrong. But like they all flat screens. So I bring the Wii everywhere anytime I go to a hotel now. And it's like it's something that, yes, 12 years later, but you can sit in that hotel room and play Wii.
You know
bowling.
what's funny, dude? Sweet Pie will it's her turn to bowl. She runs downstairs into the basement, into the corner, and all of a sudden her little me bowls. She's down there. She runs to the most just corners of the houses to see if it'll still work, and it does.
Really?
She freaking bowls from anywhere in the house.
Really? That's
We're like,
awesome.
come on, just roll the ball. She's running
That's
upstairs
awesome.
and shit.
Last time I was over, she was Wii boxing.
Oh yeah.
And she was exhausted pretty quick.
Yeah.
She gave up on it. Or
Yeah.
did you send me a video of that? You might have sent me a video of that.
No, maybe that was it was video, but she still does like the real action of boxing, whereas the boys just know you can just like wrist it.
Dude, you know what though?
Twist
I don't
your
like
wrist, yeah.
that. I don't like doing that. When I play Wii baseball, or if me and Ty play Wii tennis,
Golf. Yeah.
I will sit there and
Me
have
too.
to do the.
I've chucked the remote across the room.
Oh, dude, yeah, man. There was one time we were playing golf. Like you were talking about golf, and we it took us, I think, longer to do Wii golf than because we were all lining up our putts and stuff.
Dude, I do the same thing with the PlayStation. PlayStation 3 had the Wii type remotes.
Right.
And I would do that with golf, full swing. I would like clasp my
Throwing your
hands
back
the
out.
right way, like my
When the
pinkies.
thing- yeah.
Yeah, throw your back out. So I would do that with baseball. I would wear a mitt. I swear to God, I would put a mitt on and I would pitch with the Wii remote in my hand and I would full wind up.
Well, I don't
Dude,
feel
I have
It's
I have
not-
pictures of me with full batting gloves on and wristbands and a
do remember-
jersey.
You
Remember
used to-
those? I used to post those. And I'd be
Yes.
playing baseball in full uniform. I'd even put on Tiger's pants. I have Tiger's pants upstairs, like actual
Stirrups.
baseball pants. That
Stirrups.
I didn't have stirrups, but I'd sometimes have cleats on in my living room by myself, not with like a group of people around. By myself. I think I even had eye black on at one point.
I respect the fuck out of that. Ty sometimes won't do it, and I'll be pissed because when I do, I sit there and like,
I hope you don't look like that when you swing a bat.
well,
Oh boy.
The problem with Sweet Pie's swing is she swings left-handed, which is fine, but her me is set up right-handed, and she refuses to change it.
what?
Really?
Yeah, and so she's
That's obnoxious.
It is
Come
obnoxious.
on, sweet pie.
Yeah, she's got to get her head in the game.
I don't know.
That's some
It's an easy
stubbornness.
fix.
She's pretty good though.
Is she?
Yeah.
I want to take her on. I want to fight her. To be honest with you, I'd like to come over and whoop her.
You need to
ass
take
in a
Manny
fight.
on in ping pong though next. time.
Yeah, no, Manny and I had a couple good battles, but
He's ready.
he
for you.
is going to. No, he's already beating me. He's going to dominate me soon,
Oh,
especially if he's
sorry.
playing a lot.
Sorry.
So funny. Jay gets so mad at E when he puts his hand in his.
I don't
pants.
understand. I mean, why he can't avoid this? Okay, we're together for a couple hours here on the show. Why can't you go a couple hours without putting your hand on your pants?
Do you think if your hand goes to your noose, washing is a must?
Yeah, dude. And
Oh.
do you, right, and that's the problem. There's points of contact everywhere, common points of contact, and he's got his ball sweat all over his hands right now. Now it's on his face.
Yeah.
Now it's on his
I'm
mouth.
gonna be honest too. When I bike rode today, I didn't shower after bike riding.
Oh, I was gonna say you probably haven't showered, and that's why you're all itchy and skanky.
Did you whack off today, you son of a bitch?
Yes, in the
Black
morning.
light.
I still have it at my house. I forgot it.
What?
Still sitting at my
I have another one upstairs.
Oh, okay.
If I remember at the end of the show, we'll take a blacklight to you and see how you did.
Ugh.
Did it just dry on you at some point?
You know what, though? I just changed boxers.
It's not on the Detroit Cast shirt, is it?
No.
Okay. You sure?
I don't know.
It's on the supple belly, isn't it?
No, it isn't, because this shirt came out of the box that's still in my car.
He has all of our Detroit Cast shirts. They've just been in his car for months.
Actually, I forgot.
Is that a ladies' cut, you son of a bitch?
I don't think so.
That'd be very normcore of you.
Yeah.
No, it's a men's.
Anyway, I bring up the touching of the noose and washing because we got an interesting story, which has happened in cinema before. It's probably happened in normal everyday activities too. But God, I love stories like this. This mayor of Georgetown, Texas. His name's Dale Ross. Took a break in the middle of a city council meeting.
Uh-huh.
To go take a whiz real quick.
Okay.
But he forgot to shut his microphone off.
Awesome.
Total Frank Drebin. Remember when Frank Drebin did this in Naked Gun?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's why. I'm like, shit, I know I've seen this.
And I'll play you that scene. It's even more fitting because they're talking about protecting the queen.
Yeah.
At the time.
Yeah.
They just had the baby over the weekend and whatnot. So anyway, this city councilwoman, Rachel Johnroe, had just started to speak about the very serious topic of antibiotic resistance when all of a sudden this motherfucker saunters into the bathroom and starts taking a whiz, then flushes the toilet. It's awesome. And she loses it.
Did he wash afterwards? That's the question. How boring is that, too, you know?
He did not wash. Are we going to get a commercial here?
To just say that if your life has not already been touched by an antibiotic-resistant disease, it probably will be at some point. My mother has fought a MRSA infection. I have a high school friend whose 3-year-old son almost died from C. diff, and he will be dealing with the consequences of that for the rest of his life. But the thing is that these deadly infections, there's something we can do about it. And what we can do is call on governmental representatives that are higher up the chain of command.
There's nobody there.
Right.
2 people sitting there.
Right.
And ask for action at the federal level. I am aware of Mr. Brainerd's concerns that he raised last time, and there would be instances where I actually agree that we should take action locally first, but there are not
He's doing the
any
dribble.
KFO operations in Georgetown,
Here
so
comes the
for us
flush.
to just say it within the city limits.
Now he's going to come back in the room.
Would be an empty gesture. So
There he is.
Look at that son of a bitch.
Saunters back in.
also these diseases
Didn't hear a sink going.
Yeah, neither did I.
don't know any boundaries. So a state by state approach would just mean that there'd be clusters of disease that would sorry.
What a miss.
Go across the border. Anyways,
That
I'm going to
son of
stop
a bitch.
talking now and ask that you give this serious consideration.
Oh, yeah. We're all over the
This
serious
was-
consideration. Isn't that
Dude, that's-
awesome?
I think the funniest part is that clearly he didn't wash his hands.
Yeah.
Like,
Rachel Johnroe plowed through that. But it totally reminded me of Frank Drebin in The Naked Gun. Do you have that scene, K-Dog? I fucking love this scene.
God, these movies are great.
Oh, so good.
God.
Here, you can use my radio mic.
Pause. So if you remember, the Queen is coming to town and they need police squad to. So she's just given a speech saying, "Yeah, I'll turn it over to police squad now, who will be in charge of looking after the Queen for her visit." Right?
Why would the police squad be in charge of the Queen?
Because it's a movie. Anyway, so Drebin's going to now address them.
Thank you, Your Honor. Protecting the safety of the Queen is a task That's gladly accepted by Police Squad. For no matter how silly the idea of having a queen might be to us, as Americans, we must be gracious and considerate hosts.
People clap that.
Thank you, Lieutenant Drebin. Of course, we all have.
Earlier, he was drinking like a gallon of water.
Of the Queen's American Goodwill Tour is completed, and we can all take pride that the Queen has chosen our visit.
Sounds like the King's dream.
Indeed, it is for all the people who will be able to share in the celebration. Especially exciting will be the Queen's public appearances. It's so.
Watching it all.
He's got two hands on the wall. You've seen that guy at the urinal,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
What the hell is that?
I don't know.
We also.
Put your hands on the wall.
Whoops.
Peeing on his shoe.
Hands behind his head.
Hey, speaking of the Queen, we have a new baby girl, right?
Yeah.
Unnamed so far as we know.
Yeah, I haven't seen her name yet.
Whatever should we name her?
What was the leading names? Wasn't
I'm
it?
gonna guess Penelope.
No,
No, it was the leading names in the U.S. I know people wanted Diana.
Yeah, if everybody wanted Diana, I don't think they'll do that. Anyway, God, that was funny.
Hey, we've got some breaking news, dude. At least at this hour, 2 gunmen killed outside community center, which is hosting a Draw the Profit show. This is kind of
Draw the Profit show.
Yeah, 2 people fatally shot today outside a Garland, Texas community center that was hosting a show of cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad.
Oh.
Yeah, and the center was put on lockdown, SWAT officials said. The two suspects drove up in a car and opened fire on the Curtis Culwell Center, which is owned by the Garland School District, and a security officer of Garland was hit, according to a statement by the city. The officer suffered non-life-threatening injuries, but apparently they let loose on these 2 dudes. At this time, it's not totally clear that it's like, because of the nature of the frickin' contest. Could just be a random thing, but
I'm willing to bet.
Believe it's sort of a Charlie Hebdo type thing.
There's a picture of it.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
They're masked. And
they look.
This
they've
is
got
not
the
random.
calling card of the terrorist, don't they?
Yeah. The New York-based American Freedom Defense Initiative was hosting a contest that would award $10,000 for the best cartoon depicting the Prophet Muhammad at the venue. Should have entered this, Mike.
$10,000.
Shit. Such drawings are deemed insulting to many followers of Islam and have sparked violence around the world. According to mainstream Islamic tradition, any physical depiction of the Prophet Muhammad, even a respectful one, is considered blasphemous.
Wow.
And then we remember in January,
Why
12
is
people
that?
killed by gunmen in Paris at Charlie Hebdo.
Yeah. Just killing it, by the way.
Yeah, look at those
Pun
2,
intended.
man.
Yeah.
But they got 1 security officer, didn't even kill him, and they got taken out. Nice work, fellas.
Yeah, that's great. Those look like real weapons too. That's not your typical handgun. They must have advertised this thing going on, this contest.
Oh yeah.
They must
yeah.
have done pretty heavy advertising.
Yeah,
for it.
they make it sound like it was like a show. There were a bunch of people there, 75 attendees taken to another room. Later, a group of 48 people were escorted to a school bus. So yeah, there was people looking at these things.
Scary shit, man. Scary stuff. So last week, I feel bad now. We were talking about the earthquake in Nepal, which, kind of a blip on the radar here because obviously we had all the breaking news out of Baltimore we had to cover in our press. So the earthquake got, I don't know, good 4 minutes a day, maybe.
Yeah.
Coverage. Just
Despite
good.
the thousands of people dying.
Mm-hmm. Well, we got a.
We don't care about the Nepalese, apparently.
I know, yeah. We're, I don't know.
Sounds like their problem, not ours, right?
There we go.
So anyway, I think last week when we were talking about it, there was talk of a guy who was rescued after 3 days. He was still alive. Remember that baby was buried for 2 days, still alive. And they were like, the search continues. And I was like, it's been like 5 days. I mean, this is this is no longer a search and rescue mission. This is just collecting remains at this point. Well, I couldn't have been wronger.
Wronger.
I couldn't have been wronger.
Hey, give him a break, okay?
Yeah.
Wronger.
Yeah, I can only imagine if I'd said wronger.
101-year-old man was
He just lied today, and he said wronger.
Hey, you know
What's
what?
wrong with wronger?
Nobody's perfect.
I stand by wronger.
More wrong.
No, I liked wronger better.
Okay.
I like it bestest. I like wronger bestest. So that's what I went with.
That's fine. Yep. Well, I'll just let you whatever.
Thank you, E. 101-year-old guy was pulled alive from the rubble.
Well,
how do you have the will to live, man?
Yeah, just
at that age.
7 days. He was under his collapsed house for 7 days at 101 years old.
I think
It's
that's
like, it's okay. Go to the light, man. Just be done with it. You're 101.
Well, it's kind of selfish, too, making us waste efforts on looking for this 101-year-old dude.
I don't think they were. I think they were just getting to him. 7 days later, like, we'll look under this thing.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Maybe there's another baby under here. They were like, we got this old decrepit piece of shit. Should we grab him while we're here? Well, might as well. We've already pulled up the boards. Might as well just take him on our way. We got room for one more.
They don't even want to, but they're just like, Jesus.
What's his name?
Funcho Tamang.
Ooh, me sorry, me no speaking Chinese.
Yeah. Funcho Tamang was rescued Saturday with only minor injuries to his ankle.
What?
And hand.
101 years old and it's minor injuries?
Yep. They also rescued 8 Britain.
Hold on a second. Why, just because of his age, would he be more injured than others? Isn't it the nature of the collapse and everything that would matter?
No. I'm pretty sure that if I was in a house that collapsed and my grandma was sitting next to me,
every single collapse would collapse just like you're about to describe it. Okay.
I'm pretty sure I would have
You could predict the collapse of every single house, every single structure.
I'm not predicting the collapse of every house. I'm predicting the collapse of my opinion of what most would be like. And I think that a person of 101 would have
Aren't collapses really relative-y? I mean, how can you predict a collapse or the nature of said collapse?
You can't predict it.
Okay, so what did you say before then? See, now you're changing your story.
No, I'm not.
And to the extent you're changing your story, that goes to your credibility.
Oh, my God.
He's got you there. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, this guy, he sounds kind of like a lazy ass to me because he's 101. All he did was, a board smacked his ankle or something. It's like, pull yourself up, my man. Like, why do you need 7 days?
Yeah, maybe this guy's getting too much credit.
And
maybe he was trying to die.
I don't want to call him a liar, but I don't know that he's 101.
No.
I mean, he looks old as shit. I'll give him that. He's definitely in the age range of old as shit.
Who's on his t-shirt? I mean, more importantly, what the hell's that t-shirt all about?
K-Dog, pull up a picture of this son of a bitch, will you?
Who's on his t-shirt, man?
I don't know.
You go to somebody's wedding or something?
God,
somebody's engagement party? What is that?
I don't know. It's like a white couple.
Wang and Zhang's engagement party.
Let me see the story, K-Dog. There were also 8 Britons who were stuck on a mountainside that they were rescued as well after 7 days. They were at some remote monastery. A team of humanitarian experts chartered an aircraft to get up to the group who were marooned on a remote mountainside religious retreat.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong about the t-shirt?
That's like a cheesy airbrush t-shirt or something. Like,
yeah, you get it Cedar Point.
Dude.
Maybe I'm assuming they gave him that shirt when he got to the humanitarian rescue tent.
But what the hell is it, man?
A shirt of some couple with her head on the guy's shoulder.
That's some like Nepalese like TV show or something?
I don't know. It's like Friends or something, or look at that old man.
You're right though. He doesn't look 101.
Yeah.
He's got he's got a Kitterman going.
He looks too
80s.
spry for 101.
Yeah.
He looks like he'd walk around.
Looks like he should have just been able to get up himself off of this broken ankle or whatever.
Yeah. So I don't know. He looks like he's in really good shape, at 101.
7 days? What was he doing?
Just your hand off.
Sorry. Jesus.
The police also pulled 3 women alive from under the rubble on yesterday. Although it was not immediately known how long they had been trapped, I'm willing to guess that they've been trapped since April 25th when the earthquake hit. I don't think they they climbed into a hole and trapped themselves a few days in. Call me crazy. Although it could have been an aftershock, I suppose. Maybe that's the thing.
They've been surviving on each other's breast milk ever since.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine that, E.
Yeah, I can imagine it.
The death toll hit 7,250.
Whew. Shit.
That's 2 9/11s plus some.
Right.
That's insane. They said it's likely to jump as the teams reach the mountain villages. There are still villages where we know that all the houses have been destroyed, but we haven't been able to reach them. The aftershocks have not receded. We expect the final casualty numbers to climb much higher. They've been forced to close their international airport to large jets, like the one my man was flying, the Chinook.
Yeah.
Like they're bringing military jets like that over there, these big behemoths with aid, and the airport can't handle it at all. Aid workers say that it's the only runway they have, and it can't handle the stream of aircraft flying in to help. They're too big. They're breaking the runway. It's crumbling, and it's the only way in and out.
Dude, your country's got issues when there's only one runway that can handle a big jet,
and it can only handle medium to large jets.
Right.
It can't handle like a military jet. Bigger planes were banned because the runway was deteriorating.
Hopefully the llama, he learns from some of this and improves the infrastructure.
Does he make those calls?
I don't think he does, but
yeah.
Isn't he more just a figurehead, Jay?
It was built to handle medium-sized jets, not these large cargo ones. This runway is the only lifeline for Kathmandu. If it goes, everything goes.
Yeah, boy.
God bless where you live, righty?
Yes, sir.
They say it's now a race against time to get food and shelter to people.
Why would you say God bless where I live? Why you care?
Because it's America.
God bless.
Yeah, I know. I got what you said. It's a figure of speech. I didn't mean it.
Gotcha.
Now, Big Bird.
Yeah, dude.
Our friend Big Bird. Were you a fan of Big Bird or
Dude,
Sesame Street?
I really wasn't. No.
Yeah,
not
me
really.
either.
No.
Me either.
It was. I don't know if
didn't get them.
I feel like I was a little old or
I
something.
like the gay guys on there from time to time.
Yeah, Bert and Ernie.
Yeah. I was more of a Muppets fan than a Street fan.
Were you a Bert or Ernie guy? It's the right answer to this.
I kind of liked Bert, I think.
Dude, come on, man.
Was Ernie the shit? I can't remember.
Bert was
a stuffed off
Yeah,
asshole.
he was. He was
No eating crumbs in the bed.
Yeah, Ernie
that's
was
right.
the loose guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Come on, Bert.
Was he the one that laughed like?
Yeah.
Wasn't that
Yeah, there
Ernie?
they are.
Come on, Bert. Just have. What is he?
I didn't like Bert's head. I didn't like
I know
his
he-
shape and the unibrow.
The unibrow sucked.
I don't know, man. Bert kind of freaked me out. I'll be
How
honest.
old were they supposed to be?
I don't know. What do you mean? There's no age to Muppets.
Well,
No, but these two guys living in sleeping in beds and shit.
it was
B
just
and
a
E.
weird.
Dude, that's right, dude.
B and E on top of the beds.
Yeah, they had the same bedroom, and Ernie would snore and keep Bert up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember they'd go to that. They'd go to that restaurant too. There was that restaurant with the chef would always be going in and out of the door, and he'd always get their orders wrong.
Yes, something about soup.
Yes.
Yeah.
Soup.
There's always some issue with Bert's soup.
Look at
It's never
Bert's.
hot enough or cold. It was always too cold or too
Yes.
hot. Never right.
Look at the picture.
I know.
It's ridiculous.
Look at Bert too with his stupid pajamas on.
Yeah.
He wears pajamas to bed.
Yeah.
And the hat, really? Has anybody in the
The
history of
nightcap.
the nightcap? Has any man ever worn a nightcap to bed?
Maybe back in the 1800s when there were actually, it wasn't warm in the bed. Maybe.
With Ma in her kerchief.
Yeah.
And me in my hat. Isn't that how it goes?
Is that? I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Look at these sons of bitches. Anyway, we're getting off topic.
Oh,
we
we
got
are.
Big Bird.
Sorry.
Throughout his 46 years playing Big Bird on Sesame Street.
46 years.
Yes, Carol Spinney.
Give it up, Spiny.
He's always stood apart from the show's other puppeteers. He's got that full body costume, and they're acting like there's a guy in there that's not really a bird.
Whoa, what?
Means he can't easily interact with cast members. It also means he can cry without anybody noticing. Apparently, he's busted into tears a few times.
What?
Yep.
Wait a minute, what?
You know, I never really liked Big Bird.
And
Either.
wait a minute.
No.
And he couldn't interact with the other people because of this, like off the stage.
I don't know.
Like.
No, they're saying he's dressed up as a fucking huge bird, so he didn't have like real interaction with human beings a lot of the time because he's dressed up as a bird.
Gotcha.
You've seen him, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Enormous bird.
Yeah.
Big.
They said Mr. Bird, he's done it a few times crying.
In fact.
Big. You've seen him, right? Big.
Most notably while singing Being Green at Jim Henson's funeral.
Well, all right. I'll give him that.
Okay.
It's the creator.
He's at Henson's funeral. Another was during the darkest period of his life when divorce and depression made him thankful the suit hid his tears. Did you know Big Bird went through a divorce?
He's clinically depressed.
Big Bird got divorced. He's crying.
Yeah, he was leaning on Snuffleupagus like crazy.
Yeah,
Right, they're fucking doing
desperate time.
Doing these bits he's thinking about. It's fucking getting.
Didn't he sit in a nest?
Yes,
I think he did.
I believe that he absolutely did.
It's so weird, man. Like, what a piece of our pop culture. Like, you don't even think about, that's just Big Bird. It doesn't even occur to you how friggin' weird
you
that
get a
is.
picture of him in his nest. I know he sat in a nest.
Yeah, I think he did.
There's a new documentary called I Am Big Bird opening Wednesday at the IFC Center in New York. We'll see how Spiny, now 81, evolved from being a kid bullied for playing with dolls to developing Big Bird and Oscar the Grouch when Sesame Street debuted in 1969. Sesame Street's creator, Joan Gans Cooney, I thought Henson created it. Well,
you know what? He probably had the input on all the Muppet characters, but the creation was a larger thing of, hey, let's educate kids in this way.
Yeah, you're probably right. So she says, here are 5 things you don't know about the man who is Big Bird. He's related to Barack Obama.
There he is.
Yeah, there
in
he is
his
in that
nest.
That's ridiculous.
Let me ask you this, man. Why the fuck was there such a big bird there?
I don't
Just
know.
in this neighborhood.
Right, well,
why was
what
there a
about
grouch
Snuffle-
living in a garbage can?
That's
None
I
of
can
them made any
see.
sense.
Whoa, I could see kind of that being like a bum living in a garbage can.
But why is there an enormous yellow bird?
Well, what about Snuffleupagus? What about him?
Well, he was a figment of his imagination, wasn't he?
Hi, Bird.
Yeah, that was Bird's imaginary friend.
It was?
Yeah,
I thought they
nobody
all
else
knew
could
him.
see him.
Nobody could see. No, he just wasn't ever around when anybody else was around.
Oh,
I think other people could see him if Bird could just find a way to get Snuffleupagus.
Really?
There, it was like,
And
oh,
maybe-
you just missed them.
And maybe that changed later because I feel like I remember Maria having some dialogue with Snuffy.
Yes, I was
Really?
gonna say. I
But
swear
I think
people...
at first he was a figment of Bird's
Okay.
imagination.
Okay.
Really?
His first name's Aloysius.
Aloysius.
Aloysius Snuffleupagus.
Wow.
Damn it.
Who knew?
For many years, Big Bird was the only character
Okay.
On the show
who
who
saw,
saw
him.
him.
See, that's how I remember it. When I
Okay.
was
But later in the 17th episode or 17th season, he showed his friends on Sesame Street, his imaginary friends, so they believed him.
And what would the see this?
Before that, the main adult characters teased Big Bird when he said he had seen Snuffleupagus because they did not believe there was such an animal. Often despite evidence to the contrary, such as an oversized teddy bear that Snuffy had left behind, or segments in which Snuffy interacted with other characters, such as street scenes.
What the
So
fuck
see,
is
so
Snuffy, too? What is he, a woolly mammoth, but
It's
not
like an
really?
elephant
But
trunk.
Jay, just real quick, if he says it was 17 seasons, it started in 1979. You said
69.
60. So that would line up to when I was
Okay.
watching that he could have seen. You know what I'm saying?
Damn, they go 17 seasons with him as an imaginary. That was epic
Oh, yeah.
when he came out.
Huge. Look at those lashes, too. His
Yeah, that was the
eyelashes.
big thing about Snuffy. The eyelashes would kind of bounce around,
Yeah.
feathery.
Hi, Bird. So he's related. Big Bird, Mr. Bird, is related to Barack Obama.
He is?
Yes. And the president, they share a distant
Oh.
great-grandfather, Josiah Clark, making them ninth cousins. The puppeteer got the news via a cousin who had a genealogist trace the family's history. He gave me the whole family tree that proves it. When Michelle Obama was on the show, she was like, oh, it's nice to meet you. Finally, I can meet my other cousin. The days for Mr. Bird were not always so happy. He once considered suicide. Bird almost killed himself.
That'd be rough. Although since he's a character, they could really just shove anyone else in there.
Well, yeah. The puppeteer discovered that his then wife and the mother of his 1-year-old son was cheating on him. I knew that. Mr. Bird's wife was banging someone else.
Can't handle it.
Your husband's got everything.
I
The
know.
world is your oyster.
I know.
It's Big Bird.
My God, all
Wow.
the restaurants would be open to you. Just walk around.
Yeah, I'm Big Bird.
Yeah.
Like table for two, please.
And it's just like boom, and it's still not enough, huh?
They got divorced, setting off a spiral of depression. One day on set, a crew member
Alcoholism.
complimented his Big Bird acting. She couldn't see the tears streaming down his face inside the suit. At home, he opened the window of his apartment, looked down 9 stories, and said to himself, "I could just jump out and it'd be all be over with."
He can fly, can he?
Yeah, you would think as a bird. Yeah, was he
Well,
one of those flying birds?
Wings are pretty pathetic.
Big
Yeah.
Bird just living in an apartment too.
I know, in the Bronx. That's weird.
Bro, he's living in a Big Bird lives in an apartment in the Bronx, and his wife cheated on him. Kind of takes the character down a little bit.
I agree. Luckily, he closed the window, called a friend, and went to the movies and never thought about suicide again.
Wait a minute, whoa!
Imagine getting stuck behind Big Bird at the movies.
He's so depressed that you see him killing himself, and then he just goes to the movies and it's okay.
Yeah, apparently.
Like,
Took his mind off it. That's why you go to the movies, right?
I guess.
That's why you go to the cinema.
I do
And
like
then
going to the cinema.
He meets Deborah a year and a half later, and he's been in love ever since.
Nice.
No matter how black a day, if you can just hold on, the sun will eventually come out for you.
Oh.
Ugh.
Kind of.
He's not the only Big Bird. Bet you didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that.
This guy is he's tied to Big Bird's identity for sure. His apprentice, he's got an apprentice who's 44 years old.
44.
His name's Matt Vogel. He's been waiting in the wings 17 years for Spinny to retire. Holy shit. In the meantime, Vogel acts as a producer and puppeteer on the show, occasionally donning the costume. Most people retired years ago, but I don't want to retire. I don't see a point to it. Yeah, ask
Yeah, no
Vogel.
reason.
See if Vogel sees a point to it.
Yeah, no reason to. Just die in the costume, I guess.
Yeah, that's a bummer. He was almost, and this was the craziest thing that I read in this. He was almost doomed on the Challenger.
Yeah, this
the
is
space
wild.
shuttle that blew up.
What?
Yes.
They almost put him on there.
What?
Big Bird with Spiny in the suit, or Spinny, whatever his name is,
They
was
were just-
originally slated to be part of the Challenger space shuttle mission in '86 in the hopes of renewing kids' interest in America's space program.
They were gonna send Big Bird.
Totally do that.
Yeah, couldn't you?
Yeah. Oh, won't this be fun for the kids? There's Big Bird floating around.
But the suit wouldn't fit in the shuttle. So NASA scrapped the plan. The shuttle exploded soon after takeoff, killing its 7 crew members, including schoolteacher Christy McAuliffe, who was selected in his place.
Dude, they couldn't, like, no offense, like, it didn't fit in the shuttle. Couldn't they just somehow, like, fashion a smaller
Retrofit
suit?
it.
Or, I mean, you couldn't just put, like, a helmet and then paint it yellow or something and tape a beak onto it?
Hey, man, he's distinctly Big Bird. You can't mess with Big Bird.
Yeah, you can't fuck with Big Bird. Thank God. Like, what would they have done? Every kid in America was watching that space
And
shuttle.
wait a minute,
blow
and
up.
you know what, another thing.
Like, if Big Bird went up in that plane, you would have to kill Big Bird. You couldn't let Big Bird come back to the show.
They just on the next episode next week.
After a very special edition of a family edition of Sesame Street, The Killing of Bird. Like, what would
Yeah,
you do?
that would have been a conundrum for sure.
I wonder what they would have
And
done.
wait a minute, another thing to me is, don't we, like, they always say, like, isn't it supposed to be such a big deal, like, the body having to get in shape to go into space? That was he in astronaut shape?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe not. I guess.
Maybe it was in the very early stages. Like, yeah, that'd be great to have Big Bird. And then they
Yeah.
looked at it and they're like, nah, we can't
Well, I
even.
guess the teacher went, so maybe just if you're just sitting there, it's not as big of a deal. I guess.
No, I'm sure she had to pass some physical
Right.
exams and shit to do it. Right?
McAuliffe,
Chris McAuliffe,
probably. Yeah.
Well, that was, when was that? 86, 30 years ago, almost. So he would have been 50. He wouldn't have been as old, I
Yeah, he
guess.
could have done it.
Yeah.
Dude, how do those characters? We just went over Bert and Ernie. You talked about the Grouch and all that. Some of those are like on the street scene.
Yeah.
The Grouch, Big Bird, Snuffleupagus. But how does Bert and Ernie and like the Count and all that shit fit into Sesame
Count.
Street? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just
I don't
they'd
know.
have
these random.
yeah, one-off characters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who else are the characters? I'm trying to think of.
Well, a big one that came later was Elmo.
Yeah.
Did they have
Elmo wasn't in
when-
there. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, they didn't have Elmo when we were kids.
No.
Wow.
No.
Elmo wasn't original.
No.
Wow.
The frog obviously would, but the frog mainly was like a reporter. Remember that? Kermit the Frog was in like a reporter
That's
outfit
right.
and shit.
Because I was wondering how Henson.
Yeah, the
Henson-
frog really became a star on the Muppet Show.
Yeah. Which I get confused when I go through, like when I'm thinking of characters, I want to go, oh yeah, the guys in the balcony were
Muppet
hilarious. Muppet Show.
I hated the guys in the balcony. by the
Did
way.
you really?
Good dog. Oh my god. That's a good rendition of what it would have looked like.
He's got the image of the space shuttle exploding in midair, but there's big bird feathers coming off it now. They could have done like an Acme thing though, where the coyote hits the ground and you just a puff of smoke, and then he's in the next scene.
Yeah,
they could have done that, I suppose, with the bird.
But you know what was with the Muppets? Did they have a show that was more with actual, just like Sesame Street, where they were Muppet characters?
They had the Muppet Show, which was on Sunday nights at 7:00, I think, right after Dance Fever.
Huh.
And it was like a whole show where it was like a variety show that these stupid Muppets would put on, and they had a live action guest.
Okay.
Like I remember Mark Hamill.
They
was on
brought that
one.
back for a while because Garth Brooks did it one
Really?
time when I was.
Garth Brooks probably done it a few times,
But it was like,
well, they've done Sesame
but
Street.
you know
Yeah,
what?
he might have been on Sesame Street.
No,
they got
he
into
was.
that.
I absolutely remember because I was well older where I would not have been watching the Muppets or something. But the only reason I asked is because when I was a kid, I don't think that was going. I think it took like a break, and I watched the Muppet Babies, which was a freaking cartoon version of it or something.
It's funny that you always try to point out these things that, oh, when I was young, and you guys didn't experience that because I'm so much younger than you, because we have an interesting you saw this, didn't you?
No, I didn't. I don't get the emails.
Howold.net.
I did see this. It said bullshit.
Sid forwarded us this. It's interesting. Some
Mhm.
irony here. He plugged us all three of us into this program.
This is a program.
Well,
I've saw.
hey, it's a
I know-
face recognition software.
I
okay?
know a friend who posted a picture of like their daughter, and it showed that she was like 25 or something.
Well, you're 39, dude. I hate to say it.
There's a picture he used.
You're 39. It's you. Is it not you?
Yes, it is you.
You're 39. Mike coming in at a spry 38.
And then you, of course, Jay pointed
Oh,
out.
35.
Oh, of course, Jay
Oh,
pointed.
bullshit.
Hey,
I'll
I
give you
don't.
that.
It's software, dude. It's objective.
Yeah.
I'm
I'll
sure,
take it.
I'm sure this thing where a computer system
So
just looks
he's
at
the oldest one of the group.
Well, I'm kind of an old soul, as we've discussed in the
Shut
past. And a free spirit, Jay.
Yeah, really.
And then we got a guy who is suing a hospital, and Florida man suing a hospital after he says they amputated his leg, and then went sweeperooed it. They sweeperooed it and chucked it in the garbage can. Don't need this anymore. And they threw it in the garbage can with his name tag still on it. John Timiriasiev. He had his leg amputated in October. A month later, homicide detectives call this dude suspecting foul play after the limb was found at a waste management facility with his name attached to it.
Oh, gross, man.
Yeah, it is gross. He's suing now. He wants money.
Because?
Emotional distress,
Over
describing the hospital's conduct as outrageous and beyond the bounds of human decency, as to be regarded as odious and utterly intolerable in a civilized community.
Dude, that's the standard for intentional infliction of emotional distress.
Really?
It's very similar in Michigan. It's conduct that would cause a reasonable person to exclaim, outrageous! Seriously.
Really?
That's the standard.
Who says
He doesn't have a
outrageous?
leg to stand on in court with this one, does he, Jay? I
no.
just don't see it going
Definitely
anywhere.
not.
I mean, if he thinks,
That's gross, dude. That would be upsetting, but
would you care? I mean, you would care that you lost your leg. That part would suck.
if they told me like seagulls were picking at it and shit, and,
Would you care though?
you know how I get about like something else, like an animal eating me. That bothers me a lot.
Yeah.
But like, would you? But it's already.
I know
off
it's
you.
separated from me.
Yeah, it's gone. You got to let that thing go. It's
I
gone.
might raise a question like, what? Wait, you just threw it away like in the regular garbage?
what
I
are you
look
gonna do?
into it a little bit. I don't know that I'd file suit, but
Rather than properly disposing of the plaintiff's limb as expected and as required by Florida law, doctors at the hospital threw it in the garbage with tags indicating it belonged to the plaintiff. I have heard of people having the wrong limb removed, but hospitals aren't supposed to throw them away, think it'd be worse to have the wrong limb removed.
Right. I don't think that's quite even close to the same thing, actually.
Yeah, I mean, conceivably, you'd still have to have the other limb still removed. I wouldn't think they'd just swap it out at that point.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like now you're doubly fucked.
Plus, why are they talking about removing when clearly it was a sweeperoo out?
You guys have had surgeries where you have to X like your arm or your ankle or
knee surgery. Yeah,
I have.
Yep, I might need it. I had to do that.
Oh, never mind.
What?
No, finish your thought.
I think I did have. You know, speaking of age, I think I did have something that's aging me a bit. I did break my wrist back in 2006 or whatever.
Overuse.
Anyway, but I've never had issues with it. Like it healed completely. I've never felt any. And on Saturday, I was lifting up like brake things where we toss them out into the scrap metal, and it was starting to.
He's got an old man injury.
Yeah, couldn't have just been sore.
No, this is different. It was totally a different feeling to me. Like I could feel that it was from the fact that I have a bolt in there, and I could just tell.
It's only downhill from here.
I know, my God.
Only gets worse. Never coming back.
I'll just end the game.
The family approached officials at the hospital and were told it would provide no explanation for what had occurred. They said they've got procedures have been put in place and reinforced to ensure similar situations don't occur. I don't know. I mean, what's that worth?
Yeah,
something maybe, but
$50. Do we give him a meal voucher?
I think like 1,000 maybe for the fact that you had to talk. Did he have to talk to the police about the fact they're like, oh, we think you're a suspect or something? You said it was.
I know how upsetting can that really be? I get it
because you didn't do it.
Failure of procedure and all that, but really, let's be honest.
Yeah,
you're getting rid of your leg. That's that sucks to think that your leg's just sitting in a freaking pile on a.
Yeah, and they're supposed to incinerate it. I guess
honestly, that's what I said. Like maybe a few hundred, just
opportunistic. Hey, you fucked up the procedure, so give me this.
Mm-hmm.
They'll give him $5,000.
You think so?
Yeah, for sure.
Worth $5,000,
maybe even more.
Make him go.
But I'm
away.
talking about what do you think it really like? Don't you think realistically it should be like maybe a few hundred just for the fact that you had to talk to somebody? I guess, but.
I
wonder if he's suing for millions, though. They didn't give a number.
Jay really likes that, I guess.
This idea that you would think like it's really only worth like $300, like hundreds. Like usually when you're talking about it, like you just automatically jump to a couple K, and that's okay. It's like, but he's like, I don't know, like $85 to $90. No, I think it's more than that. To be quite frank.
Okay.
Yeah. I would think if you're going to bother going to court, it would be thousands of dollars.
It'd be like 103 or 107. I don't know. Or whatever.
I was thinking $200-300 is what I was thinking.
Really?
Oh, speaking of which, by the way, we got those hotel charges down like cut more than in half.
Interesting.
Something. Yeah, I think it was $1,100, and I think we got it down to about.
Did you suggest they tried to launder said items?
Although I should say this, I shouldn't say this, but I will say it. I don't think I did this, but I was asked if I had wet myself through the evening because apparently in the discussions of lowering the prices, they were able to say that in the bed there was traces of beer, soda, and urine.
Oh no. Was it you?
I don't think it was me though. I said I really don't think it was me, so I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I did. I don't know.
Semen? You got a 3-way gangbang going on with 3 dudes in there and there's no semen?
Well, we didn't pull out, so.
Jesus.
He said it, folks.
I know.
He said it with a straight face. So take that for what it is.
Yep. What do we got for email, Jay?
We do have some
email. Not going to beat that.
We do have some email, and I want to point out first, Aaron is watching tonight, and he's calling K-Dog out. He's calling K-Dog out on his ability to find terrorists, gunmen shooting up Dallas. He says it's bullshit. He's analyzed said picture, K-Dog, and he's questioning whether those aren't French modeled license plates and French model cars.
I did see that.
I did notice that too and thought, wow, that's weird that they would have a car like that there. But whatever.
The siren sounded like this.
What is with that?
Like if you ever watch a Bourne movie, it's like the whole time that's just
yeah.
So K-Dog, you certainly are an asshole and a liar too.
Yep,
says Aaron. Tommy writes in.
I like that makes him a liar, by the way. Just think
Well, we asked him if that was real, and he said yes.
Yeah.
So I would say that
okay.
absolutely
Flat
is
out
a
lie.
liar.
Flat out lie.
Yep.
Fearless cult leader King Spartan and the trapped in the closet 32-year-old.
31.
I was listening to Friday's show, and beginning at the 117:37 mark, Biggie offers some very profound insight into love.
Just real quick, it's never good when they're talking about me and then they're talking about a very specific down to the minute situation.
Down to the second. I love it, man. It touched and moved me and shit. So I wanted to transcribe said advice so that anyone who may have missed it Friday can hear this. Begin transcription.
Oh, God.
And cue Big E voice. You know how it is. Fucking love. That shit is. Some guy likes this person and he likes somebody else. But she is in love with him. So, because a girl likes him, he can bang her whenever she wants because she wants it. She's like, obsessed with him. And he doesn't really care. So he treats her like shit. But like, I love her. But like, I don't, what I mean. It's just that whole fucking bullshit.
That sounds about right to me.
Very well said.
I think we can all relate to that on a very deep level, says Tommy.
Oh my God, this sounds like a new game in the making. Transcribing E's words.
It's ridiculous.
I guarantee
it's a transcription.
It took him 20 minutes to probably transcribe.
That's the word written word for word how I said it.
I guarantee it is.
My God.
I guarantee it is too.
Pathetic.
Good day, goodbye, ciao, au revoir, au revoir.
Au revoir.
It's becoming
Au
too
revoir.
many.
Au revoir. Au revoir.
Au revoir.
That's
Au revoir.
That's going to be
Au
another
revoir.
new
Au revoir.
goodbye. There's like 5-6 goodbyes on every email now.
And then there's several people asking this question.
Oh,
when
boy.
did poos become poops? Did I miss a critical
Yeah,
5
poops.
seconds of the show?
Yeah, the poos. Look at the poos. You know what? I tend to do this with things that they morph as they go. And so they all mean the same thing. But if you hear poos, poops, proops, poopsoos, they all are just code for the poos. Ah, look at the poos. Look at that proops. Look at the poopsoos.
You got that, everybody?
Yeah. Did that make sense? So no matter what animal I'm looking, Jay and I were watching 60 Minutes for a couple minutes before the show started, and there was pandas on the TV. It was
Not as cute as you think.
immediately. Look at that poops. Look at that proops. They are. The baby ones are adorable.
Yeah, you've fallen into the societal trap of thinking pandas are the cutest things ever.
Who doesn't
They're not.
think pandas are adorable?
They're not that cute. Think about it. Next time you see them, wonder
Sounds like
if
they're
they
dumb as shit.
if they
too.
weren't black and white and had those cool patterns to them, would they really be that cute? Would they?
The
If-
babies
if
or the
people
full grown?
weren't telling you all the time how cute panda bears are, would they really be that cute? It's sort of like Cameron Diaz. She's not hot.
Yeah.
Just people keep telling you she is.
No, I agree. I thought something about Mary Cameron Diaz was hot, but
No.
yeah.
No,
Wait a minute.
no.
Dude, also, they're dumb as shit. They don't know how to have sex.
Yeah, they get all
Like,
confused.
He's like,
They're
oh,
"Ah,
I don't know what they're doing.
perfect conditions.
Like, he's like, oh, yeah. It was
Yeah.
like they literally kind of mess it up. How?
Yeah. Then they eat their babies and stuff. Yeah, they're messed. I agree with you. The babies can be cute, but there you go.
No,
My, that's
There's a
not
picture
a
of Cameron
Cameron
Diaz.
Diaz.
Oh, boy.
Isn't she something?
Yeah, boy.
Isn't she something?
If you said that girl works at the trailer park down the street,
all right,
you'd be like, yeah, sure.
Works at the trailer. What does she do at the trailer park?
You know what she does at the trailer park.
Oh, works at the trailer park. I
Oh yeah, she's got beautiful eyes though.
You, God damn it, that's Mike's
What?
fall back. He always falls back and tries
So he
to
can
find.
pretend
You
like
gotta
he's-
say those are beautiful eyes. Look at that.
Sure.
Bigger E
No.
writes in. Corporate shill, I'll take that. Chaz and Big E, man of the people.
I'll take man of the people.
No.
You get Chaz on this one. During Friday's show at the 121:22 mark,
Christ.
Oh no.
the couple that had the drug-infused orgy at their house stated that the house was covered with fluids and gook. Now, I understand that you do not speak Japanese, but I am outraged at this blatant racism from our neighbors to the north. I can now see why Jay is not a big fan of said Canadians and their racist, drug-induced,
That's true.
orgical tendencies. Orgical.
Orgical.
That's awesome.
Nice.
If that's
Yeah.
a word, that's awesome.
I doubt it's a word.
And by the way, I love Canadians. Our neighbors to the north.
Yeah.
They're great. But I
And
digress,
Sean
and
Bieber.
I really am writing to see if this summer's Franklin Chaz Fest barbecue presented by the Detroit Cast will have plenty of barbecue sauce and mayo at said event. Probably will
boy.
not want to bring out the black light at Radio for One Studios after that one.
No.
Keep up the great work, Bigger E. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Excuse me.
Chenandler Bong writes in.
Chenandler Bong. Awesome.
We continue our 15-year-old correspondence. Hey guys, my brother wrote in on Friday. You'll recall that.
All right, is this just going to be a family feud? We're going to eat out their family
Is this
issues?
the Big E one that's writing now?
Yeah.
All right.
My brother wrote in on Friday and said that I was the Big E of the family. That is bullshit. No one in our family has ever called me Big E.
That's not Chenandler Bong.
What do you mean?
That's Ross.
No, That's Ross.
My God.
That's not Chandler.
I might make random sounds and things because of my self-diagnosed ADD, but I am nothing like Big E. I can create a well-rounded sentence without much hesitation, and I don't spray Coke on my friends and then have gay sex with mine like Big E. Also, you were wondering if he speaks up in class. That's a no. Remember, we asked about the history or the government class where the brother's like, yeah, all these people are espousing all these stupid views, and we wondered if he speaks up and says what's up. His brother says, no, he is a complete pussy and doesn't even talk. And by the way, he doesn't even know where Webster comes from, but he called Walters Webster anyway because he's a conformist.
Oh, what a sheep.
This is the start of a war with him, and I bet it won't be the last time you hear from either of us. Love you guys, Chenandler Bong.
I love Chenandler Bong.
Chenandler, I can't promise you that we will read every email of said war.
Oh, we'll read them all. Maybe
we'll
not
read
on
them
the
all.
air.
Probably not on the air, though. Just warning you.
By the way, in defense of his other brother who said he's the Big E of the family, Big E, when he said, that's bullshit. Like, I could see Big E saying that. When we call Big E a retard,
You're
he
right.
goes, that's bullshit. I'm not a retard. Like,
that reaction was very similar by Chenandler Bong to
Absolutely.
what Big E would do.
yeah. So, I mean, it does add and lend a little bit.
Yeah, it
The
does.
idea that, you know.
Derek writes in on the same subject. I hate to be a trivia dick, but the correct name on the TV guide was Mrs. Chenandler Bong.
Oh, my
I know it's a tiny detail, but I figured Eric loves it when the king is corrected, so that was for Big E.
Yeah, I missed it too, though. I could have set it down, and I didn't.
Could've
He's
put-
pulling up everybody
You
who
know,
wants
being an
Chenandler Bong.
asshole. Living up to his name as an asshole. He's pulling up every
He's going
friend's
all
character
around the circle, isn't
except Ms. Chenandler Bong.
That's for AA Ron right there.
Yeah. Is she pretty, Jay? Is she hot?
he? Yeah.
Jennifer Aniston?
Stacy writes in.
Agreed.
Jay just said someone was hot, actually.
I know.
A chick.
Stacy writes
Phoebe? Not hot.
in. No.
I like Phoebe.
Exactly.
I liked Phoebe the best
Really?
out of the girls.
Ugh. I like Jennifer Aniston.
I just thought she was. Well,
Stacy writes in with our favorite palsy. Had to take a pic of my husband with his dirt Kitterman and soul patch from our gardening, planting, and yard work today. Also, I know how big a fan Walters is of Bell's palsy. My husband has/had it. It's why his one eye droops. Check it out.
No way.
We've got a picture of the palsy.
Wow.
And a fine Kitterman indeed.
that is a dirty
Makes
face.
him look kind of rough and badass.
Yeah, it does.
How do we get the bells?
like he's
Can
got
you
to bend
buy
through
it?
some shit.
Can you buy it or do you have to like wait for it?
I think you just contract it.
Go have sex
Really?
with him. Maybe he'll get it.
Have sex with Stacy's husband. Mark writes in. Council. That's me. Jabba the Hutt and Basement Troll.
I'll take basement troll. Fucker.
Hearing about E's typical 32-year-old extravagance while out in the town reminded me of a trip I took while early in my career. Not 3 adult men spilling a Coke in a room, but it was close. I worked for a sales exec at our company, and I went on a trip to Amsterdam with him. I didn't really know him well, but he was a high-priced alpha male who carried himself with the arrogance and swagger one could expect. We'll call him Ray. We had a series of presentations with a big customer. After our long flight, we went to the hotel for the night. Meeting was the next day. The hotel was a classy place right downtown with posh staff and concierge service. What happened that night isn't entirely clear, but the outcome was brutal. While I grabbed dinner and went to bed, Ray was up to no good. The next morning, he was nowhere to be found. Phone off, no answer at his hotel door. We had to call security to open his room, and the site was like a crime scene. Here's a chubby 50-year-old dude, supine, naked, passed out, covered in vomit. Supine.
I love it.
The room is wrecked. There's a nasty old hooker also passed out in the corner.
Oh,
Her dentures were on the nightstand.
No. What are you going to do, righty?
Exactly.
Boys will be boys.
You know what? I watched the Simpsons episode this week that had Boys Will Be Boys in it, and I was pumped when I heard it.
That's a great Homer drop. Wasn't it Homer that said that?
This one was when Bart and Milhouse had snuck into, or Bart and Milhouse had snuck into the Flanders house, and they discovered he had he's a huge Beatles fan, and they wrecked everything. And someone said "Boys will be boys." They've said "Boys will be boys" a few times on The Simpsons.
Yeah.
This is not the first. So anyway.
Empty wine bottles everywhere. Apparently, Ray had secured some goodies from the concierge, found himself a companion, and got totaled. The hotel called the medics, but Ray refused. The conniving strumpet was trying to hit me up for payment on her way out.
Really? Oh, that's awesome.
So I dutifully headed out to visit our customers on my own, wide-eyed and way out of my element. Dude, that would suck. He's the lead guy. You're just there as support, and you've got to go present to your customers in Amsterdam. I did my best and then headed back to see what Ray was up to. He had recovered, had a new room, and was ready to head home. He made me pick up the charges for the damages so he could approve the expenses when we returned. As I recall, it was somewhere around 2,000 euros. I got called into the finance manager's office when I got back, and for some reason I did my best to cover for Ray. Ray never really spoke about that night, but treated me well afterward. He left our company soon after with a long trail of such adventures. Looking back, I was stupid to cover for him. Mark.
Wow.
Gross.
Yeah, those Vegas. Is that Vegas?
No, Amsterdam.
Amsterdam.
Yeah.
That shit happens in Vegas. When I was in Vegas last time or the time before, I remember we had a few. Our room turned into a crash room. It was one of those where we were going for work, so I had a room, and then every time we would go, like Derek would come up from San Diego, a few people would come from Phoenix, and they'd all just kind of, it'd be a party room, and there'd be cots and beds, and I remember one of our buddies, shall remain nameless, took a lady of the night back to our room and was trying to deny it. And the next morning, I remember like he'd cleaned out the room, and it was like, you took that skank bed. Which bed were you in with that skank? He's like, no, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Right.
And the next morning, it was one of those like open the blinds while the sun's coming through the giant windows, and there were just fucking hand and footprints all over the fucking. So he was banging her like from behind and up against the glass. When I swear to God, there were prints everywhere from this skank's hands and feet. Oh, it was disgusting.
Nice. Hey, Aaron didn't like that comment apparently, so he points out it's so nice when you guys let a girl back in the mix from time to time. You can always tell that Beth is there by that pile of hair behind Mike.
Look at that. Look at his hair.
Good dog's got his ponytail up going, or his little bun thing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
does that
What do
all
you
the
call
time.
that?
Bun.
Yeah.
He's wearing a bun tonight.
Yeah. Top knot almost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll save the rest for tomorrow.
He's making a. And there's a new Bell's Ale.
Nice. Here it comes. Bell's Palsy Ale. Very nice.
It's got a droopy face, son. That's funny. All right, we'll save the rest.
Yeah, we'll save the rest, man.
Wednesday before the show, I'm gonna do comedy in Dearborn at Bamboozles or whatever, 8 o'clock
or whatever.
I'll do it before the show, though, and I'll be here for the show. But I'm just letting people know.
Nice.
Wednesday night, Bamboozles.
Yeah,
where
Dearborn.
did you say? In Dearborn?
8 p.m.
And where is Eddie?
Dearborn.
Yeah, but what roads? Any idea?
Just go to Dearborn.
Whatever.
Yeah, look for a retard. In his
It's off the main one, whatever that is.
Michigan Ave, Ford. Ford Road, Michigan.
Telegraph, I think.
Telegraph?
Or no, I don't know.
People will figure it out.
That's irrelevant.
They'll figure it out. It's not important, right?
There's an internet thing out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make them work for it. That's good. That'll help.
Hey, they keep showing up anyway, despite my.
Keep treating them that way. I'm sure they will. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging with us today. We got one more. Go ahead.
Hey, we're gonna do 2 more emails after this, so hang in with me.
Yeah,
Zotford needs your trade-in for a limited time. Zotford is conducting a special key for key event. During this event, you can exchange your current vehicle for a brand new 2015 Ford without spending a dime out of your pocket. Also, they may be able to match or lower your monthly payment. Zotford is authorized to assist you in terminating the remainder of your loan or lease, no matter what you owe. You give them the keys to your current vehicle, and they will give you the keys to a brand new 2015 Ford. Plus, as an added bonus, Zotford will make your first month's payment up to $500. Friends, you can only do this at Zotford, and you can only do it during the month of May. So get there. Hey,
we got a few more emails, Jay?
We do have a couple more emails that I came across here. It's weird.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Did you know, and this goes back to our friend Amy's email from the other day where she went up to the UP and she mentioned that she was in the central time zone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Adam points out, fun fact, when you are in the western part of the Upper Peninsula, you are as far west as New Orleans.
Really?
Did you know that?
Wow.
Glad you hung in there for that one, guys. No, it's a nice little fact. Mark writes in, talking to my friend's dad over beers the other night, and he starts telling me about his old days, running wild, chasing girls. He's in his 70s and a cool old Ukrainian guy. Made me think of Uwe.
Yeah.
He's telling me about banging chicks and references a French safe, quote
Awesome.
unquote. I had to stop him and ask what he was talking about. Apparently, it's a very old word for condom. Mike, a condom is a prophylactic. You would use it as a method of birth control as well.
Not
as
following you.
Okay, prevention of disease.
Not following.
Is it me? Am I the only one not to know this? Says Mark. He also goes on to tell me they were expensive and he used to wash them and reuse them. God damn it! Are you freaking kidding me?
Dude.
Can you imagine?
You do it with your shirts.
Can you imagine, dude?
No.
Fuck. He's
thinking about it.
No.
Rubbers are kind of expensive.
I just love hearing that. I love, even though I make fun of old people a lot, I love when I hear stories of an old man that's actually cool and like that he'd be having a few drinks and telling this guy about banging chicks back in the day. That's kind of awesome.
Sit down with Uwe.
Yeah.
Sit down with Uwe.
I
for a
bet.
little bit. I mean, the stories of that dude, like getting into fist fights with entire villages in Germany and whooping ass.
Of course.
Oh, the stories are fucking legendary.
Save the rest for tomorrow.
We will.
And this time I mean it.
All right, good. All right, we'll kill it there. We've gone late. Thanks everybody for checking out the show. We appreciate it. Enjoy the new website. The new website's up for those that care. And I don't know. We can discuss more tomorrow.
Well, we know we got to tweaks. We have some tweaks that are necessary.
We had to
know,
launch it though. It was getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
So you'll
it's
see some
launched.
little things. We'll be working on it over the next week or so. And tell us about how much it sucks in a week. Okay. Try to save it.
With that, we'll call it a day for a Monday. We'll see you guys tomorrow for an all-new Tuesday edition of the Detroit Cast.
You've been listening to the Detroit Cast with your hosts, Mike and Jay. From all of us at Radio for One Studios, thank you for listening. And as always, thank you, Detroit.
Listen to God, watch